Taxes and more.
The other running back, Jimmy Giles, in our pregame report, we spent a lot of time talking about him and the offensive line. Greg Roberts, the former All-American in Oklahoma, Charles Hanna, the converted defensive end. From the 31-yard line, Tampa Bay first down. And the pitch is to Bell. He reaches the 34 for a gain of 3, brought down by the left quarterback, Ron Bolton, number 28. The Cleveland Browns played the 3-4 defense, something new in 1980. Henry Bradley, a relative unknown, is the nose tackle and playing extremely well. Lyle Alzado on one side. Of course, they missed Jerry Shirk. Marshall Harris played very well last Sunday. 4 excellent linebackers. Robert L. Jackson has had an outstanding start. Don Good replacing the normal starter Clay Matthews. And the defensive backfield, Tom Darden with a scratched cornea, playing with a little bit of a handicap on 2nd down and 7. And Eck with the ball carry. Gets through one man and reaches the 36-yard line.
Sam, on this Cleveland Brown defense, it's a defense that in the early part of the first 3 games that they played have been very, very good, but they seem to tire. And I think that's more from a lack of experience than anything else. I'm sure that Doug Williams and Ricky Bell will test that defense all day at the corner.
3rd down and 5 for Tampa Bay. As you look at the sidelines of the Buccaneers, this sea of orange here in Tampa Bay. And if you've seen any games emanating from this stadium, you know how the Tampa Bay partisans are dressed. 3rd down for Doug Williams. Double tight end situation. Jimmy Giles, 88. Abranovich, 86. A quick out pattern for the first down to Gordon Jones. Up around the 44-yard line, and the Buccaneers convert on their first 3rd down conversion of the day.
And if there's one thing that the Cleveland Browns defensively have a problem with so far this season, Sam, in 3 games they have allowed opponents to complete 68% of their passes. Doug Williams, not known really as a percentage passer, 51% so far this year. Just a little timing pass to a young man out of Pitt. A real surprise for the Tampa Bay Bucs, Gordon Jones.
From the 44-yard line, you'll see some of Johnny Davis today, the 3rd-year man out of Alabama, but now it's Eckwood and Bell, and Eckwood takes the pitch. Bell trying to run interference, and he crosses the 45 to about the 47, run out on the far side of the field by the quarterback, Ron Bolton, 28. But the Browns seem to have that play diagnosed very well.
And last week, for the first time, Ricky Bell kind of got on track, 15 carries, 91 yards. And even though he gets the yards, look at the good block by Jimmy Giles on Charlie Hall, who I think is a very underrated linebacker. He was able to string that play out, use the sideline as another defensive man, and hold it to very little gain, only about 2.5 yards.
Double tight end again on 2nd down and 6 with Abranovich and Giles. We'll see a lot of that today. And the 2 outside receivers, Isaac Hagan's 81, Gordon Jones 84. 2nd and 6 for Doug Williams. Rolling right. Throws it in behind his receiver. Giles with an excellent catch out of bounds as he crosses midfield to the Cleveland 46-yard line. But he threw it in behind him, and Giles had to turn all the way around to catch it.
Sam, something I noticed already, Tampa is using a lot of different kind of formations with motion with Giles in the backfield and then moving up to the tight end spot, trying to confuse a very young Cleveland Brown defense. And the Browns' defensive backfield has been suspect so far these first 3 games of the 1980 season.
So they get the first down at the Cleveland 45, and Williams has his team on the move. Those are the up-to-the-date stats on Williams in 1980, of course, prior to this ballgame. Split backs, Davis 38, but the give is to Ricky Bell, and an excellent hit by Dick Ambrose. The right inside linebacker, now in his 6th year out of Virginia, playing outstanding football. In fact, both inside linebackers, it was Robert L. Jackson, but both Ambrose and Jackson playing very well.
And this is the secret to this defense. A good nose man up front will free up those linebackers to make tackles like that. Dick Ambrose just running around the block and meeting Ricky Bell in the backfield for a loss on the play. 2nd
down 11. Jerry Eckwood, Johnny Davis are the setbacks behind Doug Williams. Those 3 backs will rotate a great deal today for John McKay. The split receivers, Hagan's 81, Gordon Jones 84. And the give to Eckwood, to about the 42-yard line, trying to crawl for another yard. Tripped up, 91, Henry Bradley, and Lyle Alzado, 77. Alzado was not particularly pleased with a lot of people around Cleveland after their first victory over Kansas City.
Well, he said that a lot of people in Cleveland, including the press and maybe even some of the players, were still a little upset about the way the 34 defense was played. They had given up an awful lot of yards, but he said in Denver, it takes a while to get used to it. Don't give up on it yet.
Larry Mucker, 87. Isaac Hagan's 81 of the wide receivers. Only one setback. on 3rd and 6. Back to pass, has all day. Now has to run with it, throws it out in the flat, and it's right in the hands of Ricky Bell. But he couldn't hold it inside the 35-yard line. And so it'll be 4th down. Williams with a very late release to Ricky Bell, who couldn't hold the ball.
And I will tell you, Sam, that the Tampa Bay Bucks have to lead the NFL in passes dropped. Williams does throw it hard, yes, but there's no way that Ricky Bell should have missed this pass. And look at the athletic ability of Doug Williams to still get that ball out there in the flat to Ricky Bell, and he should have caught that.
Here's your number 2 punter in the NFC, Tom Blanchard. As you look at Giles trying to get out on this particular occasion.
Well covered by Ambrose.
For a moment. Blanchard averaging 43-7, kicking to Keith Wright. And it bounces at the 2 and goes into the end zone for a touchback, and so the Cleveland Browns have the football for the first time today. A 41-yard punt by Blanchard. And the Browns with Brian Sipe and Charles White, who finally showed his colors in that victory over Kansas City last Sunday. We'll be back to Tampa in just a moment.
Used to be, when I had a job to do around the house, it was one-on-one. Me against the house. And since the house was much bigger, I usually lost. Well, I've just changed all that with my new Black & Decker Workmate. It'll hold just about anything I want to work on, from a door to a pipe to a 200-pound dresser. In fact, my Workmate is so good at helping me work, I'm giving it Sunday off.
Workmate's available from about $45.
America is not going to be pushed around anymore.
Here come the K cars. Introducing Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage front-wheel drive cars with 6-passenger room. Dodge Aries 2-door sedan, Aries 4-door wagon, Aries 4-door sedan. The weight of Aries engine is directly over the front driving wheels for remarkable traction. With Aries K pulling for you, America's not going to be pushed around anymore. At your Dodge Ram dealer, the American way to beat the pump.
Welcome back to Tampa Stadium. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy. Early first quarter action. The Buccaneers drove the ball from their own 31 to the Cleveland 41-yard line. That had to punt. And the Browns on offense for the first time today. Brian Sipe, number 17, the quarterback. Mike Pruitt, 43, and Heisman winner Charles White, 25, the split backs. White. Hit by David Lewis, 57, after he picked up a couple of yards. Lewis ends up with the football, but I don't believe they'll give it to him. And speaking of they,
I think I'd give it to him. He's big enough.
The officials don't like to be referred to as they. We'll give you the list of officials in a moment. You look at the offensive unit, very familiar. Logan, Rucker, and Newsom, as good as any trio in the National Football League. And the big story there is not R.E. Jackson, who is not playing today, but Joe DeLamielleure, starting at offensive right guard, number 64. And he will make a difference, Bob. Second down at 7. Newsom in motion. Sipe over the middle, deflected and almost intercepted. Mike Pruitt, the intended receiver, and Curtis Jordan almost got his hands on the football. Jordan is a normal cornerback, but has been moved to free safety today. Cedric Brown out with an injury for Tampa Bay, so it'll be 3rd down and 7 as we look at the Tampa Bay defense. A great defense. Number 1 in the National Football League last year. They have a new nose tackle. Randy Crowder out with an injury, but Dave Logan playing very well. The linebackers, tremendous quartet. Lewis, Selman, Wood, and Johnson. Leo Miller, number 30, in on 3rd down. Sipe over the middle, and it's knocked down beautifully. Intended for Reggie Rucker and Danny Reese. The strong safety, 46, just dived in front of him and knocked it away.
A lesson for all you young receivers out there. And Rucker should know better. When you're standing out there, you got to come back for the football. Reese was a good 3 or 4 yards off Reggie Rucker, but stood right there and allowed Danny Reese to come in front of him and knock the ball away. A good play by Reese, but with Rucker's experience, he should know better.
Johnny Evans has been having his troubles punting the ball, particularly last Sunday. He is next to last in the AFC, averaging 37-3, and he'll be punting to Danny Reese, who just made that outstanding defensive play. And a high, short punt. Takes a Cleveland bounce. Reese at the 39, avoids one tackler, but down he goes at the 40. Man downfield was Ricky Feature, number 83. And so Tampa Bay with excellent field position right at their own 40-yard line. Second possession of the day. A kick of 39 yards by Evans. No return. Doug Williams and company go to work in a moment.
Johnny Rutherford, winner of the 1980 Indianapolis 500. Jim Hall, designer and builder of the winning Pennzoil Chaparral. Rutherford and Hall, and the bright yellow car that won it all. Johnny and a $40,000 Cosworth engine made it go. The motor oil that helped keep it going?
We run with Pennzoil.
And they won with Pennzoil. Ask for it.
For you.
Not bad. Make a beer appear before my very eyes.
Bull.
Full?
No, the Schlitz malt liquor full. It's got more taste than beer, more quality ingredients than premium beer.
Hey, it's no illusion. Bull does have more taste than beer. Make another bull appear. Hey, you're pretty good. Don't say beer, say bull. The Schlitz malt liquor bull.
Monday in prime time.
Yes, it's an emotional time for all of us.
It's the 18th anniversary of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson.
Personally, I don't even know what I'm doing in prime time. I don't even jiggle.
Here's our first score of the day. Elvis Peacock, a 1-yard run. Extra point was good. The Rams on top of the Giants 7-0. Here it's scoreless. 10:43 to go first quarter. Tampa Bay's second possession of the game. Hagan's in motion. Ricky Bell, nothing doing. Stacked up by Robert L. Jackson, 56 right in the middle, and number 90, Marshall Harris, who has a very difficult job replacing Jerry Shirk.
And Robert L. Harris has really been the biggest part, Robert L. Jackson has been the biggest part of the Cleveland Browns defense so far this season. He's played like a man possessed for Cleveland.
Loss of 1, second down, 11.
Crowd very quiet here in Tampa, very uncharacteristic of the Tampa Bay crowd.
Noticeably quiet. 72,000 a capacity crowd here in Tampa, waiting for something to happen. Williams, play action, rolling left. Has a man wide open, great catch. 87, Larry Mucker, and a first down at the Browns' 42-yard line. And the Browns secondary is going to have problems today. Clinton Burrell, number 49, replacing an injured Oliver Davis. I mentioned Tom Darden with a scratch cornea. They activated Judson Flint for this ball game.
Sam, this is one of the values of Doug Williams. With his athletic ability, he can roll out. There's no real pocket for the passer. He just rolled away from the pressure from the defensive front three, and there's nobody standing between him and Rucker, and it's an easy reception for 19 yards and a first down.
And another reason the Browns secondary will have problems, Lawrence Johnson, the number 2 draft choice from last year, out for the year with a shoulder problem. Here's a quick pitch to Eckwood. Wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage by nose tackle Henry Bradley. And dropped for another yard or 2 loss. Robert L. Jackson was there to make it secure, but the Browns are playing the run very strong.
They do, and that 34 defense is a defense that was originally designed to stop the pass, but I think most teams have found that they have an extra linebacker in pursuit. R.L. Jackson, number 56, who fights off the block of number 61. Greg Roberts, and makes the tackle along with Lyle Alzado for no gain whatsoever. That's that extra pursuer that the offense cannot account for.
Larry Mucker and Isaac Hagens are the wide receivers, second down 11. Only one setback, it's Ricky Bell. Williams, back to pass again.
Giles.
Throws it short, completes it to Obradovic to the 35-yard line. And Giles wide open down to the 10-yard line. Williams never saw him. 8 yards on the completion. It'll be third down and 3 for Tampa Bay.
That double tight end set does a lot of things for Tampa Bay's offense, and it really puts most defenses in a bind. It distorts the defensive coverage of the defensive backs. Jimmy Giles had an outside release on that play. No one picked him up. I'm sure that the Tampa Bay coaches who log all the plays and call all the plays for Doug Williams will keep that in the back of their mind. We'll see that again soon.
This is only the second time that Tampa Bay and Cleveland have ever met on a football field. Back in 1976, the Brownies won it 24-7. Williams with third down and 3.
Blitz.
Throws a quick out pattern complete. Great move by Gordon Jones. 25, 20. Down he goes at the 15. It's Tampa Bay first down.
Finally, the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans stand to their feet. The pass reception was on Clinton Burrell, only a second-year man out of LSU, and he's replacing Oliver Davis, who was out with a knee. Look at this great move by Jones. And and he gets up the field with a little help from his friends. Lyle Alzado, the old man on that defensive line, goes back to make the tackle.
Sixth catch of the year for Gordon Jones. Had only 4 coming into this game. 20 yards on the play. Gordon Jones was also a superb punt return specialist at the University of Pittsburgh. From the I formation, the give again. Jerry Eckwood at the 10, fumbles a ball, and it's kicked out of bounds by Cleveland. Lyle Alzado had his arms wrapped around the ball carrier Eckwood. Don Good, I believe, inadvertently kicked the ball out of bounds, Bob.
Tampa likes to run the ball from the I formation. Ricky Bell ran for years in Southern California out of the I formation. Look at Greg Roberts, number 61. Great speed for a big guy. And that ball is just stripped from his arms. Watch Greg Roberts here, the number 1 draft choice last year, even though it was in the 2nd round. And he is 6'4.5", 260, and he takes on Don Good. Eckwood right behind him, and Alzado strips him of the ball, and Tampa is lucky to still have it.
2nd down and 4. Give Eckwood in the fumble, a gain of 6 yards. Williams from the I formation. The up back is Bell. Eckwood gets it again to about the 5-yard line. He will be perhaps a little shy of the first down. It should be 3rd down and very short yardage for Tampa Bay. Detroit has scored on Minnesota 7-0. That's a first quarter score. And the Chicago Bears on a field goal lead the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are struggling. Bob Thomas 28 yards out. And his 13.5-point underdogs, the Bears go on top.
Sam, it appears that Tampa is going to try to feature Jerry Eckwood today. Last week it was Ricky Bell's turn. He carried the ball 15 times for 91 yards. But they may lull that Cleveland defense to sleep and then give it back to Bell for a big churner here.
3rd down, less than a yard. 4 down linemen for the Browns. They bring on Ron Cruz, a rookie out of Nevada, Vegas. Bell into the pileup. I don't know. Flag is down. Our first penalty marker of the afternoon with 6:03 to go in a scoreless first quarter. I don't know whether Bell got it or not, but Jerry Markbright is our referee as you see the discussion going on. And it gives me time to tell you the rest of the crew offside against Tampa Bay, so we know they didn't get the first down. The umpire is Ed Fiffick, the head linesman Dale Hamer. Line judge is Bama Glass, the back judge Tom Kelleher. The side judge is Willie Spencer, and the field judge Bill Stanley. So Cleveland elects to take the 5-yard walk-off. It'll be 3rd down.
Offside, number 88, offense, 3rd down.
That would be Jimmy Giles, a tight end.
Well, trying to get a good block on number 58 of the Cleveland Browns, who is Cliff Odom, young man out of Texas, Arlington. And he jumped a little bit, and that's why he made a good block.
It does help, doesn't it? So it's 3rd down, and let's call it a long 5 to go for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Cleveland 10-yard line.
Here comes this double tight end formation. I'd look for Giles right here, Sam.
1 setback. Williams looking into the end zone. Throws it. Almost caught by Larry Mucker, number 87. The coverage there by Clinton Burrell.
And we jumped on Clinton Burrell a little earlier. He had great coverage here on Mucker. No way was Doug Williams going to get this one in. And when he wants to fire it, he can fire it. But that's a great job by Burrell. Just off the fingertips. And Cleveland, as they have for most of the season so far, avoided a touchdown in the early going of the game.
So Garo Yepremian will attempt out of a Tom Blanchard hold from the 17-yard line. 27-yard attempt. Kick is up, and it is good. Flag is down, however. The kick by Yepremian is good. And that would be Garo's 1,000th career point if the penalty is not against Tampa Bay, but I believe it is. Offensive holding. The preliminary signal by referee Jerry Markbright. That will make it considerably more difficult.
Sam, I can tell you what that is. When they have up-bats on the outside line of the scrimmage, they're trying to protect the guys from rushing around the outside and blocking the field goal. Occasionally, a man will stiff-arm the guy coming in to rush the kicker, and that's what it is.
Holding, number 27, offense for hooking. 4th down.
Not bad, Mr.
That's
Trumpy.
exactly what he was trying to do.
Not bad, Mr. Trumpy.
Tony Davis trying to avoid a block of that kick.
So now the attempt comes from the 27. Makes it 37 yards in all. Yepremian's boot is up, and it is good. So Yepremian has done it twice in a row, and Garo has reached the coveted 1,000 mark in career points. And being congratulated by his teammates, more importantly to Tampa Bay, they lead this football game 3-0. 5:52 to go in the first quarter. We'll be right back.
I told my Allstate agent I can't afford life insurance. Well, John, don't put marbles in the penny wrappers. He told us about one of Allstate's affordable life plans. For a 28-year-old, $50,000 in decreasing term insurance for about $11 a month. These pennies could pay for a couple of months. Well, John...
Well, you put your pennies in my marble jar.
Ask about Allstate Life's affordable life plans. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Hey, where's my kid?
Celotex salutes the builders of America for using 400 million Sol Seal roofing shingles last year. Celotex salutes the architects of America for using 30 million dimensional shake asphalt shingles. Celotex salutes the roofers of America for using new Celotex glass fiber shingles in untold numbers. Because without their dedication and Celotex, America would be very wet.
Next Sunday, start your day with NFL 80 as host Brian Gumbel takes a revealing look at the violence in football. Is it just an accident or is the intent to injure? Plus, Pete Axtone previews the day's picks. NFL 80. Check local listings.
The drive is 40 yards in 9 plays. Your Premians 37-yard field goal. Tampa leads at 3-0. Keith Wright, 89. Dino Hall, 26 in the deep receiving spots. Wright had 2 big kickoff returns last week. But it's Dino Hall this time, and he's hit and falls forward to about the 25-yard line. Neil Colsey, the former Ohio State All-American, is the man who made the stop. But Dino Hall puts the Browns in business at their own 25. Hey, don't forget, NBC brought it to television first. The spectacular plays, the memorable moments. The World Series is back where it belongs, beginning October 14th in prime time right here on NBC.
Yeah, with the way things are going in the National League, we don't know who's going to be there yet, do we?
Our Saturday games are perhaps as exciting as the World Series will be. 25-yard line, the Browns' second possession of the day from the I formation. Pruitt 43 and White 25 as Ozzie Newsome goes in motion. The pitch to White. 25 and out of bounds as he reaches the 27-yard line. The Buccaneers with excellent penetration. Bill Kohler, 77, is the man who knocked him out.
And also good support by Mark Cotney, the strong safety of the Tampa Bay Bucks. Here's DeLamalure. Joe DeLamalure, Joe D, 5-time All-Pro, taking on Dewey Selman. Grabbing a little shirt but didn't get caught, but a fine, fine player for the Buffalo Bills for a few years, part of the electric company, supplied the juice for O.J.
We featured those 2 gentlemen in our pregame report, DeLamalure and Dewey Selman.
Correct.
Sam Vitigliano, second down. It's called at 8 for Cleveland. Rucker in motion this time. Sight. Good protection. Throws it in and out of the hands and caught by Tampa Bay. Intercepted by Mark Cotney. So the Bucs think of the most underrated strong safety in the National Football League. And a great reaction to the ball off the hands of Rucker, and Cotney has it.
That's 2 for Rucker. 1 he should have come back on. I don't think there's anything wrong with this pass. I mean, there's no reason why Reggie Rucker should not have caught that, and that's more characteristic of Tampa than it is of Cleveland. Normally very sure-handed receivers, and Reggie Rucker, who has played the game for 11 years, very seldom drops a pass like that. That's an easy pass, not difficult. He's almost standing still, and a good interception by Cotney. Tampa's ball.
Cecil Johnson had the coverage. 3-0. Tampa Bay with the first big break. And look at this. The Bengals, who beat Pittsburgh last Sunday, jump on top of Houston, playing without Earl Campbell and Curly Culp today. 7-0 first quarter. Here it's 3-0 Buccaneers. Williams, play action. Throws it down and out. Caught. Gordon Jones again. And they're really working on Clinton Burrell, Bob.
And Sam, that's the exact same play that they completed earlier. That half rollout by Doug Williams takes away the real pass rush of the Cleveland Browns, and he has an open lane to a receiver, and all Gordon Jones has to do is, with enough acceleration, get Clinton Burrell off of him a little bit. Good setup by Doug Williams, and he just flicks it for about 17 yards on the reception.
Third catch of the day for Gordon Jones. He came into this game with just 4 receptions. And the Buccaneers offense, which totaled 442 yards against Dallas, hoping to assert itself now. First down at the 15. Play, no, the give is to Eckler. And the Browns not fooled. I was, but the Brown defense was not. Burrell was there, as was Dick Ambrose, number 52.
Great pursuit by Ambrose and all the rest of those linebackers of Cleveland.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the National Football League is prohibited. Jimmy Giles, Jim Obradovich, the two tight ends on 2nd down and 9. Gordon Jones, 84. Isaac Higgins, 81. Yet to catch a pass today, Mr. Higgins. And Ricky Bell in the backfield. And the pitch to Bell. Inside the 10 to about the 8. Giles leading the way and running from the fullback slot. Clinton Burrell was there along with Don Good, but not before he got to the 8-yard line, where it'll be 3rd down and about 3 for Tampa Bay. Look at this alignment. Giles leading the way.
Well, he's a real tough cookie back there, but Burrell makes a good play to slow it down, and Good makes a good tackle. Good makes a good tackle, is that right?
Mm-hmm. It plays.
You see that student body left, very characteristic of John McKay's days at USC. Pull everybody but the head coach to see if he can't get him in front of the running back. Ricky Bell, by the way, was the Bucs' first 1,000-yard rusher last year, 4th leading rusher in the NFL. And there's a score. Pittsburgh 7, Chicago 3.
Terry Bradshaw to Jimmy Smith, 21 yards. This is 3rd down and 3. Ricky Bell, 1st down and more. Touchdown, but a flag is down. Ricky Bell, an 8-yard scamper into the end zone, but it may be holding. It is against Tampa Bay. And the Browns get a break.
And the officials had no doubt in their mind that was holding on Tampa Bay either. They threw the flag and knew what it was immediately. Might have been Ray Snell, the guard, pulling out. Rookie, first-round draft choice out of Wisconsin on the pull. If it's not, I'll apologize.
Here's referee Jerry Markbright.
Holding, number 80, offense, 3rd down.
Say you're sorry.
I'm sorry, it was Conrad Rucker. Shame on him.
A recently acquired tight end. They now have 3 with Giles, Obradovich, and Rucker. And Rucker cost the Buccaneers a touchdown. So it's now 3rd down, 13 for Tampa Bay. And a completely different situation. Incidentally, John McKay and Bill Nelson, the quarterback coach, call every play for Tampa Bay, but Doug Williams has, of course, the right to audibilize if he wishes. Gary Davis in the backfield. Williams looking in the end zone, throws it downfield, and it's almost caught. Good defensive play by Clarence Scott. It was intended for the tight end, Jimmy Giles. And that's normally who Doug Williams will go to in a situation like that, and Scott with good coverage.
Clarence Scott is no easy guy to beat by NFL standards. He started out his career as a cornerback. Last year was his first year at strong safety, and he's one of the few strong safeties that can stay up with a guy like Jimmy Giles. Good time for Williams to throw it. He looks around the field, and when in doubt, try to get it to Giles. That's good coverage by Clarence Scott, who, as Sam told you, is playing with a scratched cornea.
No, that's Darden.
Oh, excuse me, Darden, yes.
Here's Garo Yepremian's attempt at a field goal, and it is good. Garo Yepremian, 35-yard field goal. He's kicked 3 today, only 2 have counted, but it's a 6-0 football game. Yepremian, 37 and 35 yards, and the Miami Dolphin cast-off has found a home here in Central Florida. We'll be back with his kickoff in just a moment.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
The K cars are here. Front-wheel drive Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage 6-passenger car, challenges Toyota Corona. Each starts with 12 gallons of gas. Toyota says, oh, what a feeling. But for mileage, you'll feel better with Aries. Look, the 4-passenger Corona runs out after 444 miles. The 6-passenger Aries goes on almost 50 miles further. America's not going to be pushed around anymore. Aries K at your Dodge Ram dealer. The American way to beat the pump.
Sam, answer the television.
Zenith announces Space Phone.
It's probably my wife. Babe, answer the television.
Are you kidding me? This could be my boss. Hubie, you answer the television.
Just push a button and answer the phone right through your new Zenith.
Hello?
Who's this, please?
Hubie Brown?
Congratulations, UB Brown. You've just won a free world cruise.
Space Phone only on Zenith System 3. We're moving television into the future.
NBC's Great Day of Football continues later today with exciting regional action featuring the Seahawks-Redskins Rumble. And next Sunday, start your day with NFL 80, followed by great football. Telecasts include the Steelers versus the Vikings. Check local listings.
This is Bryant Gumbel in New York at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. The Bills have taken a 7-0 lead over the Raiders. Curtis Brown from 4 yards out, completing an 81-yard scoring drive at 7-0 in the second quarter. Let's go back to Tampa and Sam Nover.
Thank you, Bryant Gumbel, very much. So the Bills apparently are for real, at least at this point, leading 7-0. Here we have a 6-0 Tampa Bay lead over the Cleveland Browns. Garo Yepremian, field goals of 37 and 35 yards, although they should have had 7 there, Bob, losing the touchdown on the holding call to Conrad Rucker. The kick, Dino Hall, number 26 at his 3-yard line. 15 to the 20, takes a hit and moves ahead to the 25-yard line. And Dino Hall, he might be the smallest man in the American Football Conference at 5'7", 165, but he's a tough cookie out of Glassboro State, and he puts the Browns back at their 25-yard line. 22 yards on the return.
Sam, almost 11 minutes have expired in this first quarter. The Cleveland Browns have generated 4 yards of offense, and this is their 3rd possession. Their defense has only allowed 6 points, so they're not in too bad a shape, but this is a very important series for them.
Pretty different football team from what we saw on opening day in New England, in which the defense had all sorts of problems. They've kept Tampa Bay at bay. Throws it out in the flat and dropped out there by Charles White. He was all alone.
That is 3 straight drop passes that should not have been dropped.
Brian Sipe, number 4 in the AFC in passing at the moment. 5 touchdown passes, completing 59% of his aerials. And there had been some speculation in Cleveland, perhaps still is, that he's got a sore arm. But I think he dispelled some of those reports against Kansas City.
Last week, 23 of 36 for 295 and 2 touchdowns.
2nd down and 10 from the Browns' 25. Sipe to throw it again. Has a man wide open. Caught and dropped again. A little more difficult catch by Mike Pruitt out of the backfield. The coverage by Norris Thomas, 41, but he was late getting there, and Pruitt just couldn't hold on.
They really look disjointed out there, the Cleveland Browns. Mike Pruitt has not carried the ball yet today. Brian Sipe not set to throw it. Pruitt trying to come back to catch it. Not even close. I can't imagine what the problem is. Here's Newsom at tight end. Being held up very well by Lewis, and that's a good defense against a great pass receiver by Ozzie Newsom.
Nickel defense on 3rd and 10. Danny Reese, 46.
Special, 1-9.
Mike Pruitt out of the lineup. Cleo Miller in. He needs 10 yards to keep the football. Sipe looking downfield, has a man, Logan, and he took a hit after he caught the ball. And it's an incompleted pass. Curtis Jordan was there, number 25. Norris Thomas, 41 also. And David Logan is down. And so nothing has gone right offensively for the Cleveland Browns with 3:47 to go first quarter.
Now 3 possessions for Cleveland and still only 4 yards on offense. He had plenty of time to throw the ball here. This is a very, very big defense by the Tampa Bay Bucks. I wonder... Oh, boy. That really gives you headaches. You know that?
And
Curtis Jordan on the hit.
At 6'2", 205, 5th year out of Texas Tech, and Logan is still down, and he's no small fry either.
I wonder why Brian Sipe wouldn't try to run with the ball there to bring the linebackers up a little bit, to give those receivers a little chance in that defensive backfield. As I was saying there, Tampa Bay's linebackers and defensive backs collectively, I don't think anybody can argue the point with me that they are the biggest in the NFL.
I won't argue with you. Logan is up, off under his own power, and that's good news. Johnny Evans will punt it to Danny Reese, who set an NFL record last year with 70 punt returns. I think he only had 1 fair catch and 0 fumbles in 70 returns, averaging a little over 6 yards per return. But the important thing is that Reese gives Tampa Bay that security of catching the football. You know he's not going to cough it up.
It's also interesting that a team that was 10-6 still had 70 punt returns.
Yes. It was their defense last year that got him to the championship game.
That is correct. The #1 defense in the NFL. #1 against passing and #4 against rush. 1 total.
6-0 Garo Yepremian, 2 field goals. Evans a snap from center and gets off a little better punt this time. His first one traveled 39 yards. Reese has it to the 38-yard line as he gains a couple of yards on the return. And again, Tampa Bay will have excellent field position. Downfield to make the stop, number 26, Dino Hall, a 42-yard punt by Evans. 5 yards on the return, and Doug Williams will put his offense back into gear. Hey, don't forget, Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on NBC, it's Games People Play. You'll see the exciting Soapbox Derby, the Cabbies Demo Derby. I got to see this one. Round 2 of the DJ Fast Talk competition. I remember my disc jockey days. That's all Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time right here on NBC. From the 38-yard line, Williams again with the football, giving it to Eckwood on the sweep to the 40. Knocked down there. Ricky Bell it is, the ball carrier, not Eckwood. Clinton Burrell knocked him out of bounds, number 49. A gain of a couple of yards. 2nd down and 8 now for Tampa Bay.
Once again, the pulling guards of the Tampa Bay Bucks. Student body left. See the offensive tackle, number 73, Charlie Hanna, converted defensive player. And Greg Roberts up there in front really puts a kiss on Don Good, but for no gain. The Cleveland Brown defense is doing a fine job holding Tampa to just 6 points, and they've totally dominated this first quarter, with the offense generating just 4 yards.
2nd down, it's called at 8 to go for Tampa Bay from their 41-yard line. They send Higgins in motion, and they give. Looking for the hole. Good move by Bell. A flag is down as he breaks into the clear at the 45 of Cleveland. But a penalty marker back at the line of scrimmage, and you may have seen it fly right into your picture as Ricky Bell, looking for that hole, kind of freelancing, found it, but may have got some illegal help. 17 yards on the dash, but it's coming back, folks.
You see Ricky Bell cut back against the grain here, and that's the design of the offense. You have one guy who tries to cut off all that pursuit, and Ricky Bell with enough speed and enough agility to get back up in that hole, but for naught.
Holding, number 50, offense, 2nd down.
Well, it's been a different player every time today. That was Steve Wilson, the center, in his 5th year out of Georgia. Buffalo has scored again. Joe Cribbs on a 1-yard run. You saw Curtis Brown's touchdown run with Bryant Gumbel moments ago. They scored again. 14-0. Buffalo leads Oakland. That is early in the 2nd quarter. Here it's 2nd down, 17. 3:23 to go, 1st quarter. Tampa Bay 6. The Cleveland Browns nothing. Williams with good time. Throws it out in the flat. Juggled. Caught. Jerry Eckwood out of bounds, up around the 38-yard line, so he got him back almost to the original line of scrimmage. And Williams is not pleased about something, Bob.
Yes, but he is. We talked to him yesterday while we were down here in the stadium. Very engaging young man, and he really encourages his teammates. He doesn't get down on them. He really doesn't get after them because they drop a lot of passes. And he's one of their real leaders out there, and with his basic football skills, he'll lead this team to a lot of victories.
As you look at him again, continuation of the New York Giants' problems. They were blasted by Philadelphia last week. It's 14-0 the Rams. Still in the 1st quarter, Elvis Peacock with 2 one-yard runs. 3rd down and 10. In motion, it's Higgins again. This time rolling left. Williams all day throws it over the middle. Caught for the 1st down up around the 49-yard line. Jerry Eckwood out of the backfield. And I may have been a little bit premature. It depends on where they spot the football. But that will be close to a Tampa Bay 1st down.
Variation on the same half rollout by the Tampa Bay Bucks. Obviously feeling that they might get pressure up front, up the middle by the Cleveland Browns defensive front 3 or maybe 4, trying to avoid a blitz by a linebacker. Instead of throwing it to Mucker out on the flat, he just throws it to Eckwood over the middle. Sam, I think you were right. It was a 1st down.
Just by the length of the football. Here's another score. Tommy Kramer, 40-yard touchdown pass to Ahmad Rashad. Minnesota and Detroit tied at 7. And the Vikings have always given the Lions a great deal of difficulty, and nothing different today in the Motor City.
And Ahmad Rashad has always given everyone trouble.
You're right.
And if Detroit loses, that'll be their 1st. They're 3-0 this year, too.
2:45 to go on a moving clock. In the 1st quarter, Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy, 95 degrees with 80% humidity here in Tampa. And the reverse. Isaac Hagan, 45-40, 35, cuts it back to the 25. Clinton Burrell made the saving tackle. Tampa Bay, 1st down. 27 yards on the reverse to Isaac Hagan.
And beautifully set up by Tampa Bay. Nobody knew what was happening, and you knew who one of the lead blockers was? Doug Williams was trying to get out there. There's the center, Wilson, excuse me. And if Jones had gotten a good block on Clinton Burrell, I think he would have scored, but he missed his block. That'll certainly open it up, won't it?
Indeed. Tampa Bay's been down here twice before. They've had to come away with 2 field goals. Their third opportunity from the I formation. Ricky Bell and Eckwood are the running backs. And the give, Eckwood bounces off one man and reaches the 21-yard line. Let's go to New York at NFL 80 for an update with Bryant Gumbel.
Thank you, Sam. Over at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, the Bills have scored again. This time going in from 1 yard out. It's Joe Cribbs. It's the rookie's 5th touchdown of the year. And the Bills are out in front 14-0. We go back to Tampa. Sam Nover.
Thank you, Bryant, very much. 6-0 Tampa Bay leading and looking for more. Have a 2nd down and 6 at the 21 of Cleveland. Matt Barr, a 19-yard field goal. Pittsburgh now leads the Chicago Bears 10-3. The up back is Ricky Bell for a couple of yards, spinning in the grasp of Lyle Alzado. Ambrose made the initial hit, but Alzado had his arms wrapped around the ball carrier. It'll be 3rd down.
You know, it's interesting how Tampa Bay at times has Ricky Bell at tailback, and at times they have him at fullback. It's got to confuse the defense somewhat because there's an entirely different series of plays that they can run with either back at that spot.
I think the opinion, Bob, of those people around Tampa Bay is that Bell is far more effective as a tailback than he is an upback, but with the injury to Johnny Davis, he hasn't been able to play anywhere else.
Another interesting thing, too, when Ricky Bell is playing the tailback, they get him the ball about 7 or 8 yards deep so he can pick and choose through that defensive line of scrimmage.
3rd and 3. Double tight end. Great defensive play by Alzado, who closed him down and stopped him shy of the 1st down. Elvis Franks, 94, is the man who made the stop, but it was Alzado who turned Ricky Bell back and prevented Tampa Bay from getting the 1st down, and they can't score down there.
And Alzado, the veteran that he is, even though the defense is having problems and giving points, they are not about to give up easily here in Tampa.
And so Garo Yepremian will have to be content with a 3rd field goal from the 24-yard line. He'll have to do it in the next quarter, however, because time has elapsed. We have completed 1 quarter. Tampa Stadium, Tampa, Florida, 6-0 Buccaneers. They'll try a field goal after this.
My rototiller? In my shower?
You bought it. You keep it. The coffee urn in my bed.
You bought it. You keep it.
Buying can be a waste of money. Renting from Taylor Rental Centers saves money. Taylor rents practically everything for parties, industry and contractors, lawns and gardens, fixing and building, floor maintenance, and more.
Taylor Rental Center, Taylor.
Throughout brewing history, there have been few beers so exceptional they stand in a class by themselves. For it's a rare moment when both the finest ingredients and the skill of the brewer come together. Such a moment has been captured in Erlanger. One look, one sip, one taste will tell you this is a classic.
Come and taste the moment, Erlanger.
Out there, the cold is brutal, but what better place to tell you about Peak antifreeze and coolant? Peak is liquid armor against sub-zero cold, against rust, against corrosion. This winter, buy Peak protection, because nothing tops Peak. Nothing.
Welcome back to Tampa Bay. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy, and during that timeout, John McKay, the head coach of the Bucs, has had a change of heart. There will be no field goal attempt. On 4th and 2, they will go for it. At the 16-yard line of Cleveland, the setbacks are Davis 38 and Bell 42. Doug Williams rolling right, throws a pass, and it's intercepted and dropped by Ron Bolton, but the Browns have held. And they didn't fool anybody because the defense penetrated on Doug Williams extremely well. The intended receiver was Isaac Higgins. But the Browns did a job.
Well, I think they've been so successful this play in the first quarter. You see Robert L. Jackson coming in there and pressuring Doug Williams. I think that was an option play where they wanted him to get outside and either pass or run. And Jackson took away the option of running by Doug Williams, and no play. Good coverage by Burrell. And you see, that's Odom, not Jackson. Did a great job and great coverage, too.
So the Browns have held again, and they have done yeoman's duty in the defensive unit. On first down. The give is to Pruitt, a big hole for 10 yards through the middle. As he reaches the 25-yard line, Cecil Johnson is the man who made the stop, but that is more yardage in one carry than the Browns amassed in the entire first quarter.
They now have 10 yards total offense to 150 for Tampa.
And it's still only a 6-0 football game.
So the Browns are in it.
Dave Logan goes wide left, Reggie Rucker to the right. Willis Adams, number 80, is now in there at one wide receiver spot, replacing Rucker. And the give on first down. Leroy Selman is the man who made the stop on Pruitt again. And so Bob Trumpy questioned early on why Mike Pruitt hadn't carried the ball. And here in the second quarter, they come out with Mike Pruitt twice in a row.
And they finally get their first down of the ball game. Last week, Sam Rutigliano, prior to the ball game, told his players that they were going to air it out, throw it. I think they tried a little too much in the first quarter. And they may be going back to their basic game plan, and that is Pruitt. He was a great rusher for them last year. You can't go away from somebody who was that valuable.
Pruitt got the first down. They spot the ball just shy of the 29-yard line. And lots of motion on the Browns offense. It's Adams this time, but White goes the opposite way. And out of bounds.
Look at that.
The gain of about a yard. Bill Kohler ran him out, but you know who made the play, don't you? Number 57, David Lewis, who is 6'4", 245, in his fourth year out of Southern Cal, has got to be some mean stud on the field.
Sam, did you notice when Charles White went out of bounds that there were 4 Tampa Bay Bucks in pursuit to get him out of bounds? This is a very, very good defense. Watch this play. They string it out along the line of scrimmage. They stay on their feet. And there's Dewey Selman, Bill Kohler, 25 Jordan, all out there to make the tackle if he tries to cut it up.
I'll tell you, when Charles White gets the football, he meets a lot of old friends from Southern California because Tampa Bay's got 6 of them here with John McKay. Sipe, good pass for the first down. He completes it to Willis Adams. And Adams to the 45-yard line. And Cleveland now has 2 successive first downs, and Sipe has them on the move.
And I do think that Norris Thomas was guessing on that, expecting Willis Adams to go outside. He just went up, stopped, and Sipe hit him.
New Orleans has taken a 6-0 lead over Miami. Benny Ricardo with field goals of 33 and 36 yards. So the Dolphins in Miami trailing 6-0. Here it's 6-0 with Tampa Bay leading Cleveland. But the Browns have their best drive of the day with 13:05 to go in the second quarter. That's Adams in motion. Pruitt for a yard. Dewey Selman meets him head on and stands him up. And David Lewis, the outside linebacker, number 57, is also there. You know, Bob, you and I have done a number of games over the last 3 years, but I have never seen a more interesting roster in my entire life than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have 3 Davises, Tony, Gary, and Johnny. They've got Dewey and Leroy Selman, of course. They've got Aaron and Cedric Brown. They've got Larry Mucker and Conrad Rucker. They've got the brothers of Charles Hanna and George Yarno. They've got a Reggie and a David Lewis. They've got a coach named Bill Johnson and a player named Cecil Johnson. Here's Sipe throwing it out in the flat, and it's caught out of bounds. David Logan, 85, caught the ball out of bounds.
Glad to see he's back in the lineup.
Yeah, I am too.
One of the most consistent receivers for the Cleveland Browns over the last few years. He's already got 10 catches for 120 yards and 1 TV. And he has caught passes in 27 straight games. This will be his 28th if he catches one. I'm sure Brian Sapp will try to get it to him. Very interesting roster by Tampa Bay.
You weren't impressed, were you? You weren't impressed at all. Nickel defense. Danny Reese is the 5th defensive back on 3rd down and 8 for Brian Sipe. Good protection. Now the heat is on. Sipe avoids the rush. Floats one downfield to Logan at the 30. 25. Still on his feet and out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Sipe, with great touch, just lofted the ball into the empty spot in the zone. Finding the seam was David Logan.
32 yards on the reception, and one of the things that I think Brian Sipe has to do is not hold on to that pocket as much as he has in the first quarter. Get out there and scramble a little bit, because it appears that Tampa Bay, covering the normal pass routes of the Cleveland Browns receivers, is not going to have a chance. Here you see him running out a little bit, and there's Logan. And Rucker was a little bit deeper. He appeared to be open. So did Newsome. Oh, they're getting it together here.
So Logan now has extended that consecutive catching streak or reception streak to 28 games. It's first down the Browns at the Tampa Bay 22. Rucker in motion. Play action for Sipe again. Looking downfield. Dumps it off in the flat. Charles White. And he's knocked out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. David Lewis met him head on. A couple of former Southern California stars. It'll be a gain of maybe a yard or two for Charles White. 2nd down and 8 for Sipe.
You see that thing on Brian Sipe's right elbow. You can't really, there it is, the black thing on his elbow. That's for heat on his elbow. He has bone chips in there. And he also revealed last week that he had a broken navicular bone in his left wrist, which was made famous by Joe Namath about 8 or 9 years ago. He missed most of the season because of a broken navicular bone, but it was on Sipe's left hand, not his passing hand.
2nd down and 7. Split backs are White and Pruitt. And the give on the delay. Pruitt to about the 15-yard line, knocked back. Dewey Selma, number 58, was not fooled. So it'll be 3rd down now for Sipe, and he has a big decision to make.
You talk about Dewey Selma being a football player. I got one for you, too. He is also studying for a doctorate in ancient philosophy. I'm not sure I can use that on the football field.
I would doubt it.
But I got another one for you, too. We have a player named Dave Stalls, who they acquired from Cleveland on waivers, and he is working toward a master's degree in marine biology, especially in shark behavior. Got some real doctorates on this team, too.
New York Giants having their troubles. 21-0 Rams. Sipe back to pass on 3rd down. Throws one out in the flat, and White couldn't hold on, but it wouldn't have made any difference. Excellent coverage by Cecil Johnson, who was not fooled at all. And so on 4th down, an apparent field goal attempt for Don Cockcroft, who just last Sunday himself went over 1,000 career points, as Garo Yepremian has done today.
Sam, he just ran onto the field and tripped. You see him limping right now. He just ran onto the field and slipped, and I think his knee just popped out of joint on it.
Ooh.
You see him down on his knee there?
Yes, indeed.
I swear to you, he came out on the field and limped. I saw him prior to the game. He was talking to the doctor, and the doctor said, "How is it feeling?" And he said, "Well, it's all right," but it's his left knee, and he fell down.
He wants a timeout. You're absolutely right.
He has popped his knee out of joint.
Could he run like that if that was the case?
If it's a trick football knee, yes. Look, I'll bet he goes right straight to the trainer. Big as life. When he ran on the field, I thought he just caught his foot in the grass, but no, his knee has popped out of joint.
So the Cleveland Browns have been forced to take a timeout here. Don Cockcroft, with as Bob Trumpy has so perfectly described to you, apparently with a knee that popped out of joint and now walking around a little bit. Now, that is not his kicking leg, but it's obviously the leg that he braces all his weight on.
Exactly, and that's the one that's the most important. And last week he only made 1 of 3 field goals. He missed 2, also missed an extra point. And everybody's been, whoa, Cincinnati over Houston, 10-0. Trying to make it 2 straight.
Ian Sutter, speaking of field goals, from 26-yard out. Jack Thompson to Don Bass, 12-yard touchdown pass. It might be fun for you and our director, Ken Fouts, to go home this week, huh?
Yes, we are from Cincinnati.
We are indeed.
Very proud of our Bengals this year. This is going to be a very interesting field goal.
Cockcroft will attempt from the 25. It'll be 35 yards. Paul McDonald holds. The kick is up, and it is good. So Don Cockcroft, bad left knee and all. A flag is down, or is it not? No. Cockcroft limping off the field, but he's made good on the 35-yard field goal attempt. There is no penalty marker. So the Cleveland Browns are on the board here. It's a 6-3 football game. Garo Yepremian, 6. Don Cockcroft, 3. We'll be back in a moment.
How do folks feel when they service their cars with Napa brand parts?
Satisfied.
On top of the world.
Listen to it. Just listen to it.
I did it. And no parts left over.
Lots of Napa brand parts are better than a car's original parts. And using quality parts produces results that make folks feel
great.
When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
The financial climate can change at a moment's notice. So you look for protection. Low-risk investments with a solid return. And we know where the best ones are. The experience we have in sheltering your assets is unsurpassed by any other investment firm. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
Ponch and John check out some wild fraternity stunts and learn a shocking secret about a fellow officer.
We've been hearing some weird stories about you lately.
All new Chips Sunday.
So a 65-yard drive in 11 plays, 3 minutes and 42 seconds of elapsed time, and Cockcroft, with the bad left knee that Bob Trumpy described as having probably popped out of joint, gets the field goal. What happens if he goes down?
I think Johnny Evans is their backup kicker, but I'm not really sure, and he's not really a place kicker.
Here's Cockcroft's kick. Gary Davis, number 28, at his 7-yard line. To the 20. Puts his head down at about the 23-yard line, and down he goes. Ricky Feature, number 83, whose hometown isn't far from Tampa, Florida. An 18-yard return by Gary Davis. Feature out of Mississippi Valley, hails from this area.
Sam, let me say something about Don Cockcroft here. If he has popped his knee out of joint, if he sits on the sideline for 30 minutes or so and tries to come back, I think he's going to have a great deal of difficulty. So if Johnny Evans asked to be the backup place kicker, I don't know what they're going to do. They try to tape his knee, but still the pressure on that knee when he tries to place kick is going to cause him a great deal of discomfort.
11:04 to go in the first half. More importantly, the Browns, who have had their backs to the wall throughout the first quarter, are only down by 3 points. The defense kept them in there.
Eckwood's uncovered.
Williams looking out in the flat, throws a pass, almost intercepted. He tried to get it to Eckwood, but way late. Ron Bolton had time to react and got his hands on the ball and deflected it away.
That was close. No one went with Eckwood at all on motion outside.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 now for Doug Williams. And he is an interesting young man. As you mentioned, Bob, we spent some time with him yesterday. He was the subject of a short report on NFL 80, our pregame show. There have been some words down here, have there not?
Yes, there have. Lots of them. When we get a minute, I'll try to say something about it.
6-3 Tampa Bay. And the quick pitch outside. Flag is down as Ricky Bell picks up about 7 or 8 yards. Finally knocked out of bounds by Marshall Harris, number 90, and Robert L. Jackson, the ever-present 56. But this may also be holding against Tampa Bay, and they have had a fleet of holding calls today.
How many is a fleet?
Oh, I'd say at least 4 or 5.
Okay. We got a minute here. Let me say something about Doug Williams. Last week in Dallas, his coach was very critical of the press. Here's the call by Jerry Markbright.
Holding, number 43, offense,
Jerry
2nd down.
Eckwood. Well, let's watch this hold by Jerry Eckwood, and then we'll try to... Oh, he tackled him. And a good tackle, too, I might add. But it won't show up in the defensive stats. It'll show up as a penalty. 10 yards, and Tampa now in trouble. I'll get to Doug Williams. I'll get to Doug Williams today.
2nd down and 17. The ball now back at the 17-yard line of Tampa Bay. Jerry Wilkinson, number 70. Replacing Alzado, a defensive right-handed Bill Cowher is in there, one of the linebackers. Getting some fresh troops. Pass out in the flat. No flag. Good defensive play by Bolton again, as he had the coverage on Isaac Hagan's 81, and Bolton is playing an outstanding football game.
Tampa's had good success on the other side of the field against Clinton Burrell, and no success at all against Ron Bolton.
Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WKYC TV3 television, home of the Browns.
Sam Nover, Bob Trumpy. We're in Tampa, Florida, Tampa Stadium, a capacity crowd, 72,126. And you see the score. The Buccaneers on 2 Garo Yepremian field goals, won by Don Cockcroft of Cleveland. It's 6-3. It's been the great Cleveland defense that's kept the Browns in the ballgame. Here's a 3rd and long for Williams. Throws the home run ball downfield. He's got a man. He's picked up. Intended for Kevin House, and interference will be called against Bolton. I think I gave him the kiss of death, didn't I? I just talked about how well Ron Bolton was playing.
And you know what? He had him covered completely. Lost sight of the football, and in desperation grabbed a hold of his foot. I don't think Kevin House would have made up the yardage to catch the football.
So the Buccaneers get out of trouble and get an outstanding break. They'll have it around the 41-yard line.
Interference, number 28, defense, 1st down.
I don't think Kevin House, even with his outstanding speed, could have got to this ball. Bolton does not see the ball. That ball is a good 5 yards over his head. I don't think he would have caught it. But in desperation, you save the reception of the touchdown, take the penalty. That's a 42-yard penalty. It's better than a punt.
So
keep the ball.
The Buccaneers send Gordon Jones wide left, Isaac Higgins to the right. Bell 42 and Johnny Davis 38. Davis hasn't carried the ball yet. Play action. Williams wants it all. He's got Jones all alone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Great pass. ball was thrown 35 yards on a line between two receivers right to the hands of Gordon Jones. That is absolutely a great pass and a good touch. I think you'll be able to see this all the way. Ken Fouts has got it for us. Look at that. A guy on the inside of him and a guy on the outside of him. Closing fast, he throws it right on the number. An excellent pass. And believe me, that kid can throw the football.
Free safety Tom Darden late in getting there. Clinton Burrell's coverage as Yepremian kicks it up, and he puts it through the uprights. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with 10:34 to go first half, have scored the game's first touchdown. Their lead is now 10. As you look at it again, 41 yards on the touchdown pass to Gordon Jones. We'll be right back.
You know, I love the fresh, clean smell of barley, because I can almost taste the Schlitz beer I'm going to make from it. I'm Frank Sellinger. Recently, I came to Schlitz as chief executive. Mostly, I check on the business end. But after 40 years as a master brewer, I check the barley, too, and the other fine grains to make a really smooth beer. Taste my Schlitz.
Ram Tough Dodge pickup. New design for 1981. Built tougher than ever. With better mileage. New impact grille. Square-shouldered brawny stands. More than twice as much galvanized steel in critical areas. More than Ford or Chevy. New EPA estimates. Best gasoline mileage with automatic transmission. More than Ford or Chevy. New Dodge pickups go beyond tough.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
Saturday, it's pen and fever as the Astros battle the Dodgers for best in the West. Plus coverage of the crucial matchup as the race for the pennant goes down to the wire. Check local listings.
Not bad stats, and we haven't even reached the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. Doug Williams having one whale of a day, the big touchdown pass to Gordon Jones.
Jones did catch it, but that was an exceptional pass thrown by Doug Williams. On a line for about 41 yards. There's 30 seconds. It doesn't take him long to get it in the end zone, does it?
Keith Wright ignited this ball club last week, but it's Dino Hall on this return to about the 24-yard line. Keith Wright has not returned a kickoff yet today. He had a 50-yarder that really got the Browns in business to beat Kansas City last Sunday. Also had a 100-yarder that was called back when he stepped out of bounds. We have a flag down here at the 40-yard line, back at the kicking team's 40-yard line, which would be Tampa Bay.
And Sam, Don Cockcroft did not kick that ball off. I did not see who kicked it off, but it wasn't Cockcroft.
And a reminder, too, that this is a big...
Oh, excuse me. What's wrong with you?
This is a big... That's all right. We'll forget what you said.
Okay, thank you.
This is a big NBC doubleheader day. Coming up next, we invite
Offside, number 20 on the kicking team. Re-kicked it down.
That's Neil Colsey. We invite you to watch one of these two games. Some of you will see Seattle and Washington. Of course, the New York Jets will be at Baltimore in another. NBC's doubleheader day. This is the first half of two football games for most of you.
I'll bet you Don Cockcroft doesn't kick this one off either.
You're probably right.
Well, it's hot down here, and it's even hot in a booth.
Yeah, I've done that before. So from the 30-yard line, and the Browns now trying to get a little bit better field position, and I would think get the ball into Keith Wright's hands.
Why wouldn't you change positions between him and Dino Hall then? Because Yepremian seems to be kicking it to the right side, whether it's by accident or on purpose.
Well, they haven't disguised anything back there. Let's see what happens. Yepremian from his 30 kicks it. It'll be Dino Hall again at the 10-yard line. To the 20, 25, across the 30 to about the 32-yard line, and dragged down there by number 46, Danny Reese, who is everywhere. Not only the nickel back, the punt return man, but excellent on coverage on the special teams for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So from the 34-yard line, the Browns will go to work trailing 13-3, and Sipes going to have to answer Mr. Williams' touchdown pass in some manner. Because I think the heat will tell on the Cleveland Brown defense in the later stages of the second half.
Yes, you are right. When you come down here and play a football game, in the second half, it does have a tremendous effect on you. It's hot and very humid today.
Reggie Rucker in motion. Through at 43 and white, it's Charles who gets the ball. He runs right into number 54, Richard Wood. In his 6th year out of Southern California. Another friend, not necessarily a former teammate, but another alumnus of Southern Cal.
Nicknamed Batman. But on the defensive line of scrimmage, Leroy Selman, the Secretary of Defense, Doug Deacon blocking him. And Leroy that time is nowhere to be found. Great play by Doug Deacon as he buries the NFL Defensive Player of the 1979 season in a pile of people.
This is a 125th consecutive start for Mr. Deacon. Second down, about 9 for Cleveland. Sight. Play action. Has all day to throw the ball. Throws it downfield, and it's caught beautifully at the 50-yard line by Reggie Rucker, who came back for that one and also caught it in a crowd. Mark Cotney, the strong safety, made the hit as the ball got there.
That was the hard one to catch, and he dropped the easy one. 16 yards on the reception. Cleveland is giving Sipe plenty of time to throw the football here, but good coverage by Tampa. Lost this one good. Well timed. Good catch, good concentration. First down, Cleveland.
Playing without Earl Campbell, Ronnie Coleman has gone in from a yard out, and the Houston Oilers are on the board, still trailing Cincinnati 10-7 at Riverfront in Cincy. Quick pitch out here, caught by number 83, Ricky Feature, and down he goes. Cecil Johnson, the linebacker, made the stop, but an excellent first down call by Brian Sipe, picking up 7 or 8 yards.
And what they're doing is just having the receivers go down 5 or 6 yards and stop, and Sipe is hitting them. The linebackers on Tampa Bay are not getting underneath that pass, so they're taking what Tampa will give them.
It would be very hard for Tampa Bay's defense to duplicate its performance of last year, in which they were #1 in defense in the NFL. But there are those who think that they are not even close to last year's defensive unit, Bob, with basically the same personnel.
With the exception of that nose man, with Crowder out, it changes that defense a great deal.
Leroy Selman is the man who made the stop on the ball carrier, Mike Pruitt, and I think it's a good time to mention the fact that Randy Crowder was not playing good nose tackle when he went down for the year with a knee injury against the Rams. He was playing outstanding nose tackle, and while Dave Logan is playing very well in his place, he's not Randy Crowder.
You are right. And he is a new person in that defense, and that nose spot is not a very easy spot for anyone to play. And Crowder was very used to it. He was a big part of that defense.
They have reached halftime. Buffalo, Nick Mickelmeyer put the finishing touches on a great first half for the Bills, on their way to a 4-0 record. Field goal from 30 yards. Here's the pitch through it. Inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Runs into Richard Wood, 54. And the free safety Curtis Jordan, number 25. And they make the stop there, but I believe that should be good enough for a Cleveland first down. And the Browns now, with 7:21 to go on a moving clock, accelerating the offense, starting to get things going again.
Being a little more patient, trying to gain some ground on the yard, gain some yards on the ground instead of just throwing it every time.
Sipe on first down, back to pass again. Throws it out in the flat. It's caught. And out of bounds at the 30-yard line goes Mike Pruitt. Cecil Johnson and Mike Washington had the coverage. But another excellent first down call by Brian Sipe, who is going to the air, taking the short outs. And from ground level, you look at it.
Lots of people. You see Mike Pruitt coming right this way.
Oh, right into your lap, Bob.
I can catch that one. I can catch that one. But catching it's not the hard part. That's the hard part right there.
Our producer, Michael Hadley, had the right man isolated on that time. Pruitt, 43, a gain of about 9 yards. Second down, 1.
I'd say 9 yards and 11 inches.
Dave Stahl, 65. Mike Calhoun, 70. Give Kohler and Logan a rest for Tampa Bay. Charles White may have lost a half a yard. They did not get it. And a questionable call by Sipe. Why the deep pitch on 2nd and 1?
Well, what they try to do is pull a guard out quick and get up underneath that outside linebacker. There's nothing wrong with that call whatsoever. It's just that Cecil Johnson made an outstanding play to stop it. You see DeLamielleure pulling. He's supposed to kick out that linebacker, and White get up underneath. Cecil Johnson just made a super play along with Richard Wood.
Well, it's 3rd down and 2. They lost a yard. McDonald Logan. In for extra blocking for the Browns. Only one wide receiver. It's Adams. Play action for Sipe. He's got a man. It's Oden for the first down at the 26-yard line. Dewey Selman and Mark Cotney made the stop. But the rookie free agent out of Tennessee State with a big reception, Brian Sipe, with the excellent play-action fake.
Good call. You're absolutely right, Sam. Good play-action fake. Held those linebackers in there, allowed Oden to just get far enough down the field for a first down. Watch this fake. That's the way they do it in college. He's got plenty of time to watch. Wait for him to open up. Another first down, Cleveland.
I like this drive by Brian Sipe. He has really engineered an excellent drive to the Tampa Bay 25-yard line with 5:30 to go in the first half. And the Buccaneers leading 13-3. Sipe wants all of it, throws it down the middle. It's caught at the 10-yard line by Reggie Rucker, who went high in the air again in front of Curtis Jordan. And it'll be first down and goal to go for the Browns. And Sipe has been a master in this drive.
17 yards on that catch. And now it appears that the Cleveland offense is in sync. In the first quarter, nowhere close to being on target. And a good catch by Rucker, good concentration. 17 yards. Cleveland is not about to give up. They're going to give their defense a little rest.
You're talking about an offense that scored only 24 points in its first 2 games, 20 against Kansas City. They have yet to explode, but they have a veteran offensive crew and a young man in Brian Sipe who tied Steve Grogan for most TD passes in the league last year with 28. To the ground, Charles White trying to get outside David Lewis. He does, touchdown! What a great move by Charles White. An 8-yard scamper into the end zone. The Browns are back in the game again.
Man, you don't teach him how to do that. You see that little dip he made up the field and then went out around Joe DeLamielleure, set up his own block. Watch this play. Number 64, out of your screen now, but will come back in. A good block also by Pruitt. And watch DeLamielleure. Takes on Norris Thomas. And he just gets a couple of feet in the end zone. And that's all you need.
Well, after not doing much in his first 2 games, I would say Charles White has had a rather auspicious 3rd game and first half here today.
So far, living up to that Heisman Trophy and first-round draft choice billing.
His 3rd professional touchdown. The extra point attempt by Cockcroft is up and good, so Don is apparently all right, at least for the extra point. And the Cleveland Browns have made a football game of it. 4:39 to go first half. Charles White, the 8-yard touchdown run. It's
at about $4.50 a quart. This is one of the most expensive motor oils in the world. Or is it? If you drive 25,000 miles a year, the money you save on gas, oil changes, and oil filters alone can add up to $83. Up to $83. By switching from conventional 10W40 motor oil to synthetic Mobil 1. Mobil 1. The oil that saves you gas. And more.
Here's another Radio Shack major computer breakthrough. The amazing new TRS-80 Pocket Computer, only $249. Imagine a basic language computer that weighs just 6 ounces. Now carry TRS-80 power in your pocket while traveling, on the job, solve problems, process data, and store it in permanent memory for instant recall. The amazing TRS-80 Pocket Computer, only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
66 yards in 10 plays, 5.5 minutes off the clock. A brilliant drive by Brian Sipe. Climaxed with the 8-yard run by Charles White.
Nothing cheap either.
Nope. Don Cockcroft will kick off. So as of yet, the left knee has not stiffened. And if you joined us late, Cockcroft, appeared to slip on the grass as he came on for his first field goal attempt?
Yes, he just tripped or something, and it looked like his knee went completely out of joint. But he's obviously in some pain, still limping.
Gary Davis, number 28, standing back at his own 4-yard line. And Cockcroft with a good high kick. Davis at his 8-yard line to the 15. The former Miami Dolphin trying to get outside. And he reaches the 23-yard line, and it's snowed under there by a host of Browns, led by Ricky Beecher and Keith Wright. They're all downfield. And getting off the bottom is number 20, Judson Flint, who was just added to the roster today. Number 1, a first-year man out of Memphis State. Formerly played with the New England Patriots.
Sam, to this point in the game, the Tampa Bay Bucks have 200 yards of total offense, and the Cleveland Browns have 136. That's all in the second quarter, with the exception of the 4 yards they got in that first play.
So from the 23, Doug Williams goes back to work again. He's unofficially 9 for 15, 138 yards, and the touchdown strike to Gordon Jones. Throws it out in the flat. He completes this one to Jones, out of bounds. Up around the 28-yard line, Gordon Jones, I believe, has 5 catches on the day already here in the first half, and he only had 4 going into the game.
And they do not throw to their outside receivers a great deal, does Tampa Bay. They normally throw the ball to the tight end or to the running backs.
In what they say could be the swan song for Bart Starr at Green Bay. Tony Dorsett, a 1-yard run. Dallas 7, the Pack nothing. And some say if Bart doesn't win today, he's done. Second down and about 4 for Tampa Bay. Higgins and Mucker, the outside receivers, and the give is to Jerry Eckwood for nothing. They have lost a yard. And the Browns defense continuing to play tough. Lyle Alzado was there. He always plays tough.
You have to admire that Browns defense, too. Missing Jerry Shirk out of there. He's still having tremendous knee problems after the staph infection and also a knee surgery. And they're playing very tough defense.
Of course, the Alzado deal with the Denver Broncos is well known. He was acquired for a number 2 and a number 5 draft choice this year, a number 3 choice in '81. Incidentally, Denver used those choices to draft Rulon Jones, the big defensive end from Utah, and Lavelle Short, a nose tackle from Colorado. So it'll be a couple of years before you can make a judgment on that deal. Over the middle, almost intercepted by the Cleveland Browns. It was intended for Jimmy Giles on 3rd down. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will have to kick it away. Tom Blanchard will come on to do the punting. And if all goes well for Cleveland, they should get the ball back in fairly good field position.
Cleveland on the blitz, that means single coverage. You see Giles in your picture, and he stands there, and Clarence Scott has a chance to get his hand in on the ball. Come back for it. I know it's easy to say that up here, but that's what the coaches will tell him on Tuesday. Come back for the balls. Here's a game breaker, 89, Keith Wright, as you look at Blanchard about to kick it. Wright is a particularly outstanding kick return man. 28-4. His average is 3rd best in the AFC for returning kicks. Punt's a little bit different, but he can break it. Wright has it at the 26. Reverse to Dino Hall, who fumbles the ball. Hall still on his feet. Tremendous balance. He was lucky to come up with the ball. And he's at the 23-yard line where Norris Thomas finally knocked him down. But they tried the reverse to no avail. Cleveland has the ball. A 46-yard punt and a 3-yard return. Look at it again. A -3 on the return. We'll return to Tampa in just a moment.
What makes this truck different from any other truck you can rent? The name on it. Ryder. Ryder rents, leases, and maintains more trucks than anybody in the world. We own more truck service centers coast to coast to help you wherever you drive. So we're able to maintain our trucks better. And we're able to give you the kind of service and satisfaction you only get from the biggest. That's why nobody else in the world can say what we say. We're the best truck money can rent. Ryder.
You know, I happen to tell my Allstate agent about how everything I have 2 of.
Hi, Dad.
Like 2 cars, he asked. Maybe Allstate's 2-car discount can save you money on insurance. I compared. Allstate saves me more. I can use the money.
Noah! Dinner!
One wife. Compare. Allstate's multi-car discount may save you more money. You're in good hands with Allstate.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
NBC brought it to television first. The spectacular plays, the memorable moments. The World Series is back where it belongs, beginning October 14th on NBC.
Our cameras here in Tampa capturing the Tampa International Airport, not far from Tampa Stadium. And there's a good panoramic view of the downtown area of Tampa into the Sea of Orange here at Tampa Stadium. 72,000 watching the Buccaneers lead 13-10, 3:22 to go second quarter.
These fans are very quiet, but I think they're conserving their energy. It's worth repeating, 95 degrees and about 80% humidity. They're all going to go probably to the same swimming pool when this is over, which is Tampa Bay.
So the Cleveland Browns, with 3:22 to go on the clock, the Steelers have finally blown that game wide open. They trailed 3-0, but Terry Bradshaw has thrown 3 touchdown passes to Jim Smith in the absence of the injured John Stallworth. And New Orleans with another Benny Ricardo field goal, now leading Miami 9-0 at Miami. Here it's 13-10, the Browns down by 3. As Sipe throws it out in the flat, and it's dropped by Charles White.
Ooh, that's close.
Flag is down. A flag is down in the Cleveland backfield.
Roughing the passer, but I'll tell you what, that was close to a lateral as opposed to a pass.
Dave Logan, the nose tackle, number 76, coming late on Sipe around the head, and that may be the reason for the flag.
That's what the penalty is for. No longer go to the quarterback's head. Sipe 8 of 16, 103 yards and 1 interception so far.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 76, offense, first down, defense, 76 defense, first down.
I believe that's the first time Dave Logan's number has been called today, and a rather inauspicious call at that. Roughing the passer, taking Brian Sipe out of deep trouble, 2nd and 10 at his own 23, giving him a first down up at the 37-yard line. So the Browns are alive and kicking, and Greg Pruitt is into the game for the first time today. Number 34, right in the middle of your picture. And the pitch comes to Mike Pruitt. Flag is down as Pruitt has run out of bounds at the line of scrimmage, but we may have an offside against Tampa Bay. And it may be Logan again, who's having a not-so-good series.
And Greg Pruitt in the ballgame for the first time. He's played very sparingly so far this season. And coming back from knee surgery. And you can see that he's favoring his left knee a little bit. Doesn't really drive through the block. On number 56, Cecil Johnson. And Cecil Johnson is out there for the tackle.
Here's referee Jerry Markbright with that offside call against Tampa. I can read his lips even though his mic isn't working. It's 76 Dave Logan. 2 successive penalties against Logan. He's out of the lineup now. Replaced by Mike Calhoun in his first year out of Notre Dame. So John McKay takes a tall, cool one there to refresh and relax for a moment. And the Browns trying to take advantage of Tampa Bay mistakes. Ricky Feature in motion. Sipe has a man wide open. It's Greg Pruitt, and he almost made a great catch. As he found the seam in the zone, and Sipe lofted the ball very nicely, but overthrew him by just a hair.
He just couldn't jump up his right knee, and that's the injured knee. That's the one he's favoring. It seemed limping slightly. Still trying to come back. Sam Rutigliano has been very patient with Greg Pruitt here, too. Over the last 5 or 6 years, been their best running back. Last year with that knee surgery, Mike Pruitt emerged. And you can see he's still favoring him. But he was open.
Here's our first score in the Philadelphia-St. Louis game, and what a surprise it is. Carl Allen has returned a Ron Jaworski interception, 70 yards. The Cardinals lead the Eagles 7-0. That's the winless Cardinals against the undefeated Eagles in St. Louis. Bryant Gumbel will have all the scores and highlights for you at halftime on NFL 80. Here's a pitch over the middle. It's complete. A flag is down. Calvin Hill being run down by Cecil Johnson from behind, but it may come back. There are 3 markers down on the field after Sipe threw beautifully to his running back, Calvin Hill, for the first down. Holding against Cleveland. And in this situation, Tampa Bay has gone to 4 down linemen, too, Bob, using Kohler, Stalls, Calhoun, and Selman, taking out their inside linebackers in the nickel defense. So it's a 4-2-5. The defense that we saw in Houston last Sunday, as you well know, played almost to perfection. Get it together, Jerry.
Change the punchline, Jerry. Change the punchline.
He's got a great sense of humor.
Oh, he's going to... Oh, I see. He's going to give him more yards.
He apparently didn't walk off enough yardage the first time. Only walked off 5. Now Sipe wants to talk it over, but Jerry's going to tell us first.
Holding, number 73, offense, disregarded, personal foul, clipping, number 64, offense, accepted. First down.
That's a beautiful explanation. And that explains it perfectly, and Brian Sipe walked right back to his huddle. Because he thought it was the 10-yard holding call that was being enforced, but instead it's the clipping call against Joe DeLamielleure. So it means 2nd down and a whole lot, about 20 yards to be exact for the Cleveland Browns. 2:58 to go, 2nd quarter.
This is when you want the head coach calling the plays for you, when it's 2nd down and a whole bunch.
They split their backs, White 25 and Mike Pruitt 43. And again, only 3 down linemen this time employed by Tampa Bay. Sipe with all day to throw the ball. Has a man in the open and a great catch at the 47-yard line by Dave Logan right in front of the strong safety Mark Cotney. And so Sipe has really thrown the ball very well in this ball game, and his receivers are now starting to catch it.
20 yards on the reception, and Tampa had 8 guys back in coverage. Only rushed 3. That gave Sipe plenty of time to look for Dave Logan. Gave Logan plenty of time to get open. And they're going to measure for the first down.
It'll be 3rd down and about the length of the football for Brian Sipe to keep the ball. 2:37 to go in the half, and the Browns really have conserved the ball on this particular drive and have overcome a 15-yard clipping penalty against Joe DeLamielleure as you look at head coach Sam Rutigliano. What would you call, Bob? Would you try to fool somebody here or not?
Yeah, I think so. The Cleveland Brown offense has been struggling a little bit. You got it going here now. Let's try a trick play. Try to get Ozzie Newsome down the middle. Or you got Ricky Feature in there.
We set this game up as quarterbacks throwing to tight ends, and it just hasn't happened. They have all gone to their outside receivers today, a lot more than we expected. Giles, I think, has one completion. I don't know if Newsome has any. Here's the straight-ahead plunge by Mike Pruitt for the first down with plenty to spare. And out front doing the blocking, DeLamielleure, 64. And Tom Daly on the center and Henry Shepard, 65. And the Browns' offensive line asserting itself very well here in the second quarter. We have reached the 2-minute warning. The Browns have reached the midfield stripe, trailing 13-10. And they have a definite chance here to put more points on the board before the half. 13-10 Tampa. Will be back with the final 2 minutes of the half in a moment.
Using more gas and getting less mileage. These days, that's got to hurt. A dirty carburetor could be the cause. DuPont Gas Booster can help. Used as directed, Gas Booster paves the way to better mileage by cleaning your carburetor and fuel system. And continued use of Gas Booster will help keep your engine clean. Look for the facts wherever you buy Gas Booster, because using DuPont Gas Booster can help pave the way to better mileage. You and DuPont, there's a lot of good chemistry between us.
There is one beer, only one, with gusto. Expertly brewed and carefully aged to produce a consistently smooth and mellow flavor, glass after glass. It is a beer where every drop is thoroughly, quietly chilled lagered for a bold, exciting taste that says, this is Schlitz, and this is gusto. Go for it.
Sam Nover, Bob Trumpy, welcome back to Tampa, Florida. 2 minutes to go in the first half. The Cleveland Browns, trailing 13-10, have the ball just shy of the midfield stripe. Brian Sipe has really had himself a second quarter. This ball club netted 4 yards offensively in the first quarter, and we'll have to check the statistics, but I think they're well over 150, 175 yards here in the second quarter, Bob.
And right now against this Tampa defense with 2 minutes to go, Cleveland still has to be patient. They have 2 timeouts left. Cockcroft took 1. But they cannot turn the ball over in this situation. They got to come up out of this drive with some points.
Well, the offense averaged 360 yards per game in 1979, number 3 in the NFL. They have unofficially 160 yards total offense in the half. And if 4 of it came in the first half, you need not be a mathematician to know that 156 of it has come here in this quarter. I say you need not.
Okay. Oh, I noticed Doug Deacon with his shirt tail out there.
Buffalo and Oakland are playing again in the third quarter. As you look at John McKay, the Buffalo Bills went off at half, leading Oakland 17-0. Here's Brian Sipe throwing the home run ball downfield. He's got a man at the 10-yard line. It's Reggie Rucker. And Mark Cotney makes the tackle, but Sipe threw it downfield. Curtis Jordan it is, number 25.
Curtis Jordan was on the blitz, Sam, a strong safety blitz, and that singled up Reggie Rucker with Mark Cotney. And Reggie, you see 25 blitzing right there in the middle of your screen. Sipe sees him coming, full trajectory, unloads it, and Rucker makes a great adjustment to the ball here. Watch this. Cotney makes the mistake of a defensive back not watching the football. 41 yards on the catch.
First down and goal to go at the 9-yard line. Sipe looking at the corner, and he completes the pass. Ricky Feature, number 83, I believe, out of bounds at about the 3-yard line. Norris Thomas, the former Miami Dolphin, had the coverage. Here's Sipe again, just a quick out.
And a timing pass. He throws the ball before the receiver even turns around. And the coaches tell the receiver, plant and get your head around and look at that quarterback as quickly as you can. Kind of a chancy pass to throw right down there. If it's intercepted, it's 6 points for the other team, but
this is not the same offense we saw in the first quarter. They have absolutely made a complete change about. Bryant Gumbel in New York, NFL 80 scores and highlights of all the other games you want to know about. In the end zone, Sipe throws it. He's got Calvin Hill for the touchdown.
Great pattern.
How's that for a second quarter for the Cleveland Browns?
Great pattern by Calvin Hill. A and B circle. Running back out of the backfield, it gives an outside fake to the linebacker, and Hill cuts underneath, bam, in the end zone.
And there's...
On Cecil Johnson, too. No way to stop that. Watch it again. You might be able to see Hill just out of the right corner of your screen. Yes, goes by Cecil Johnson. Nobody there.
Well, if the heat is bothering anybody, at the moment it appears to be bothering Tampa Bay. Don Cockcroft will attempt the extra point. It's 16-13, Cleveland leading for the first time in the ball game, and Cockcroft's kick is perfect. And so the Cleveland Browns have taken a 17-13 lead, Bob.
He had a trip every time he comes on the field. He's kicked the ball very well, even with that problem knee.
He will now kick into Tampa Bay, and Doug Williams has a minute 34 to give his team the lead before halftime.
Hey, there's Ray Niski. Come on. Like a bolt of lightning, Gale Sayers flashed across the NFL. He was great. Hey, look, that's Gale Sayers. Are you really Gale Sayers?
It's really me. I saw you standing here and thought maybe you're like a tour to the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Great!
Come on, let's take a look at it. This is where you'll find all the heroes. And this is where all their dreams come true. It's got it all. The old, the new, and they keep updating it all the time. There's something of interest for every fan of every age and every team. And here's the history of the Super Bowl. Just watch.
Star's passing game was clicking as it had the previous year.
Hey, where'd he go?
You never know who you're going to meet at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it.
The preceding announcement was furnished by the National Football League. An excellent drive by Mr. Sipe, was it not, Bob?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. With 2 minutes to go, they only used about, what, 26 seconds to get the ball in the end zone?
78 yards in 6 plays. Didn't take him long, the big play being the 41-yard toss to Reggie Rucker. And here's Cockcroft kicking the ball short. Gary Davis at the 7-yard line. Fumbles it to the 15, the 20. Davis stumbling to the 27-yard line. And the clock stops with a minute 28 to go in the half. And Doug Williams now the 2-minute drills of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They led by as many as 10 points here in the first half. Now trailed by 4 at 17-13.
Well, let's see what Tampa does here. Certainly an opportunity to put it up. They've been able to throw the ball very well in the first half. To this point in the first half, I should say.
Isaac Hagan's number 81, Gordon Jones 84, the wide receivers. With Bell 42 and Eckwood 43 behind the quarterback Doug Williams. And he sets a screen up. Eckwood, avoiding a couple of tackles, gets about 4 or 5 yards on the play, and that is all. Number 91, Henry Bradley, the nose tackle, is the man who made the stop. And the clock continues to run down to a minute 10. Again, Bryant Gumbel standing by in New York. He'll have the scores and highlights of other games around the league. Williams looking downfield and off the shoulder pad of his intended receiver, Ricky Bell. Nope. Eckwood, it was out of the backfield, number 43.
Now that ball was thrown too hard by Doug Williams. And he is only in his 3rd year in the NFL. A lot of people have accused him of for what other reason, I don't know, but he just really is not a very experienced quarterback in the NFL. How
about the Williams story that we talked about earlier, we alluded to?
We'll get to it. I just think in this 2-minute situation, better pay attention to the ball game.
32-yard line with 3rd down and 6. Larry Mucker, 87. Isaac Hagan's 81, the outside receivers. He has not gotten the ball to Giles today like he would like to. He has fairly good protection. Pump fake, throws it, caught by Eckwood at the 44-yard line. That'll be a Tampa first down with 52 seconds to go in the half. And the Buccaneers stop the clock. And Williams now heading for the sidelines in a conference with John McKay and offensive coordinator Bill Nelson, the former Cleveland Browns quarterback.
Now may be time for the Doug Williams story. Last week in Dallas, a writer said that the Dallas defense was going to try to confuse Doug Williams. John McKay, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks, jumped on that and said that that may have racial overtones to it, thinking that Doug Williams wasn't smart enough to play in the NFL. Well, there are some things that you have to consider about this young man. Last year, in just his 2nd year, he led his team to the NFC Conference Championship. They lost the game, but in 2 years, now his 3rd, he has really emerged as a great, great talent. I talked to him yesterday, Sam, and I had never met Doug Williams before. He's been accused of being dumb. I'll tell you what he is. He is from Louisiana, and he has a southern black accent, and that has been confused with intelligence. I think he's one of the most gifted athletes there is in the business, and given 7 or 8 years, they may be talking about him the same way they used to talk about Terry Bradshaw.
You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, here's a young man, Doug Williams, the only active quarterback to lead his team to a conference title in his 2nd year. And they say he perhaps isn't smart enough. That was exactly the knock that Terry Bradshaw has had through 4 Super Bowl championships. Williams rolling out on 1st down. You can see the whole field. Throws back against the grain and an excellent catch at the 44-yard line of Cleveland by Jerry Eckwood. And Eckwood has shown very sure hands here in the last 2 plays, Bob.
They've driven the ball very well here and gotten the ball down the field, but they really haven't used the clock very well. They've used up all their timeouts now, and should try to throw it to the outside as opposed to in the middle, because that does not stop the clock. They have 1 timeout left. Excuse me, Sam. 1 timeout left. They've got to throw the ball to the sideline.
Williams using the rollout, of course, allows him to see more of the football field, does it not?
Exactly. And last week against Dallas, he carried the ball for 77 yards. He is a real offensive threat. He can throw it, and he can also run with the ball very well. He's one of the biggest quarterbacks in the NFL, 6'4½", about 215. There's Bill Nelson just to the left of John McKay.
We have the sons of a couple of pretty good football players working with us. Keith Nelson is one of our spotters, the son of Bill Nelson, whom you just saw on the field. Todd Kosurik, who is the son of Dave Kosurik, who played around the American Football League, if I'm not mistaken, for a number of years. Pretty good receiver, wasn't he? Thumbs up. Todd says he's doing our stats, and Jim Rowe helping on the spotting here. An excellent crew in Tampa, and a pretty good football game. 17-13 Cleveland. 44 seconds left in the half. Williams from behind. They strip the ball. And I think the Bucs got it back right at the 50-yard line. Greg Roberts, the former Oklahoma All-American, fell on the ball. And from behind, it was Lyle Alzado who stripped the football loose. And Doug Williams has had to take his final timeout, Bob, with 31
Cleveland
seconds.
has done an excellent job in this situation. There you see Alzado just coming up with the ball. And Cleveland has done an excellent job in this first half, holding Tampa to just 13 points. Good coverage by the defensive backs. Nobody open. That's exactly what you want your defense to do.
I think the lament by John McKay at halftime will be much like it was in Dallas last Sunday. The feeling is that Tampa should have led by considerably more points than they led Dallas. And then the second half, it was a completely different football game as Dallas ran a roughshod over him, winning 28-17. Tampa had chances in the first quarter, Bob.
I have a feeling, too, that the Tampa coaching staff may feel that Cleveland may wilt in the second half in this heat. It is very difficult to come down here and play 4 quarters of real intense football in this heat and humidity.
Bryant Gumbel standing by in New York. He wants to get on. He's got lots of scores and highlights to tell you about. But right now, we've got a drive by Tampa Bay with a 2nd down, 16, and 31 seconds to play in the half. Doug Williams has no more timeouts left, so he'll have to use the sidelines. Looking downfield into the end zone, throws a home run ball, and it's intercepted by the Browns. Clinton Burrell, number 49, who was beaten on the touchdown pass earlier to Gordon Jones, gets a bit of revenge, but a penalty. Whoop, Doug Williams is down. It's not a penalty flag at all. Williams is hurt, Bob, back
Gordon Jones quit running on his pass reception totally. Just totally quit running. And Doug Williams is still down, and they are attending to one of his legs, which is certainly not a good sign.
He released the ball under a degree of pressure and seems to be in a little bit of pain, as one would expect if you're oh, he is. Oh, my goodness. This could spell some bad news for the Buccaneers.
Let's see if we can pick it up. It's his left ankle, and he sets up to throw the ball. Watch his front foot. Oh.
And it was a block, I think. Was that Greg Roberts to the right of your screen, 61?
Rolled the defensive man right on his ankle. And the backup quarterback for Tampa Bay is Chuck Pacina. Once again, watch this. On this replay, Greg Roberts knocks him into it, and he just turns his ankle to the outside. And it may be an ankle sprain of some sort. We'll wait for the diagnosis from the doctors and the word from the bench.
So with 23 seconds to go in the half, after the interception in the end zone, the Browns have it at the 20-yard line, and they're content to run the clock out.
That is if they can get off on sides.
The flag is down. You're right. That'll stop the clock. And the medical corps of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tending to their quarterback, Doug Williams. Who in many respects is the franchise. He is the quarterback on this ball club.
You're right. Chuck Pacino, by the way, was a 5th-round draft choice in 1979. He's played in just one game, and that really was in replacement for Doug Williams when he was hurt. It was against Green Bay. That's the only game he played in 1979.
So this should be the last play of the first half. As Sipe takes a snap from center, and the clock will run down, and the Browns have already headed for their dressing room with a 17-13 lead, and they've got to be awfully happy to be leading by 4 when they were down by 10 and not playing very well offensively. But Sipe got them up through a couple of touchdown passes, or rather one to Calvin Hill. Charles White went over from 8 yards out on a run. And it's 17-13 Cleveland as we have expired the first half. It's been a long one and a hot one, but it's been a great one. And we've got another half to play. Gordon Jones, a touchdown catch from Doug Williams. Charles White, an 8-yard run. 3-yard pass from Brian Sipe to Calvin Hill. There's your score. Our halftime activities will begin in just a moment.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
Dodge challenges Honda. Now Dodge beats Honda with more front-wheel drive cars with high mileage. Dodge Colt beats Honda Civic. Dodge Omni tops Honda Accord. Dodge 024 is unsurpassed by Honda Prelude. And Honda has nothing like new Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage 6-passenger car, with Dodge front-wheel drive pulling for you.
Taste that says Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
RCA wants you to see the right color. Does your television automatically capture all these subtle shades of red on this fiery desert of color? Color Track 1981, the right color. Does your television automatically capture all these subtle shades of red on this fiery desert of color? Color Track 1981 can. With RCA's exclusive detail processor, Color Track separates detail from color, refines it, then locks the right color on track. Even colors only subtle shades apart. Color Track 1981. RCA is making television better and better.
For whatever you need, take the first step, the Bell System Yellow Pages.
For the food after my baby walked down the aisle.
For the photographer who told us all to smile.
We took the very first step. For the chauffeur limousine.
And a honeymoon, that's simply a dream.
We took the very first step.
The first step puts you steps ahead, saves time, money, energy. So let your fingers do the walking.
It's the very first step. The first step.
Again, our shot from the Tampa Bay Airport, Tampa, Florida. And a good panorama not only of downtown Tampa from the stadium as you look at the statistics in the first half, and they're a whole lot different than they were at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, you got to say Cleveland got most of those yards in the second quarter. Brian Sipe putting together 2 great drives. But the story is, time of possession about equal, passing very similar, but the story is whether or not Doug Williams will be able to come back in this second half. He is up, and he is warming up. Well, if he comes back from that, he is a quick healer.
Come back from anything, can he?
Yeah, he probably taped his ankle very heavily. It'll certainly be a real moral boost to the team if he can play. No doubt about that. He is a very gifted young quarterback. Good stats, too.
This is no knock at Chuck Fusina, who had a great career at Penn State. But if ever one man was a franchise as a quarterback, Williams is it. I mean, there has been times when the people in the stands have implored John McKay to give his other quarterbacks a chance when Williams has not had good days. But Mr. Williams, I think, Bob, it's safe to say, is on for the duration as long as he's healthy.
As long as he's healthy, that's an important phrase. And for his size, 6'4", about 215 or 220, he is very seldom going to be hurt. Jerry Markwright talking to him, wanting to know if he's all right, I suppose. Very concerned official.
Jerry Markwright had a remark to make to you and I the other day, our reference to officials as they.
And those guys.
And those guys. Like a little personal identity, he said. Well, he's right. They should be titled as officials when referred to. We don't always do it that way. Well, it's good to see Williams around and throwing a ball, and hopefully he'll be mobile and move around on the ankle injury.
Sam, remember, too, that Cleveland now gets the ball to start the second half. And the way their offense performed in the second quarter, they can keep this momentum going. And if Doug Williams does have any problems throwing the football, Cleveland may be able to sneak in a couple here on Tampa, although Tampa's defense is not going to make it easy for Cleveland.
Bob, you mentioned during the broadcast that you and I spent some time with Doug Williams yesterday. Of course, you conducted an interview with him that was seen on NFL 80, our pregame show. But part of what he had to say regarded the fact that despite the criticism of Doug Williams, he still feels he's a championship quarterback.
In 2 years, you took your team to the conference championship, lost in the conference championship, and almost made it to the Super Bowl, and that too is overlooked.
Well, you know, most important to me is winning. I think any organization in this league today want to win. You know, regardless of my percentage, any other percentage. Like, you know, I had 41% passing last year, but at the same token, I played in the NFC Championship team. You know, I talk about Archie Manning all the time because I like Archie, you know, and I feel like he's one of the better quarterbacks in this league. But Archie threw over 60%, but at the same time, you know, not knocking the New Orleans Saints, but they've never been to playoffs. So.
Well, an excellent point made by Doug Williams, and certainly not to slap Archie Manning in the face, but, you know, Manning is a folk hero down here, particularly in the Southland. And I think the fact that he has never led New Orleans to anything as regards a playoff berth or a championship is the point that Mr. Williams is trying to make.
And that is the only thing they judge people by, whether or not you're a champion.
Or should, anyway.
Or should, yes.
Here's our second half kickoff. Cleveland leading 17-13, and Keith Wright at the 2-yard line. His first kick return of the day to the 20-25, and he just falls forward to about the 28-yard line. Wright, who had a 50-yarder to get Cleveland into great field position and eventual 20-13 victory over Kansas City last Sunday, brings him back to the 28-yard line.
Cleveland looks very, very tired coming onto the field here for this second half. If they can suck it up, as they say in the NFL, they might have a chance to surprise Tampa.
That was also a very long first half in just simply clock time, Bob. That was a long half. A lot of plays were run, a lot of clocks were stopped. But it's 17-13 Browns, their first series of the second half from the 29-yard line. Pruitt 43. You see Rucker go in motion with Charles White leading the blocking for Pruitt. 30, 32-yard line brought down by 77 Bill Kohler. And Leroy Selman, 63, who has been strangely silent today and is not having a Leroy Selman year during the first 3.5 games of 1980.
I wonder if that might have something to do with Randy Crowder. You know, when you have a nose man and a defensive end who played a couple of years together, they work in good coordination. One makes the other one look a lot better. Without Crowder, nothing against Logan, but without Crowder, that's a lot less of a defense.
Andy Hawkins has replaced David Lewis at left linebacker. It may be that Lewis has suffered a shoulder injury. That was the preliminary indication we got, but David Lewis is not in there. Sight looking to that corner. He's got Pruitt for the first down, and the flag is down. He exploited the absence of David Lewis almost immediately. Richard Wood made the stop, but it will not count. Holding against the Browns.
I think it's Mr. DeLamielleure, number 64.
Well, he had a clipping call in the first half. This is the first start for Joe DeLamielleure as a Cleveland Brown.
Holding 64.
Oh, good eyes.
Offense.
Good eyes, Trumpy.
Second down.
You earned your paycheck today.
At left guard, right in front of 54. You can't really see it, but it's kind of hard to pick out, but those officials are a lot closer. Most of the time they're correct or close to being correct.
Second down, 17. They slot Rucker to the right this time. And the handoff straight ahead to Mike Pruitt across the 25 to the 28-yard line, stopped by the nose tackle David Logan in his second year out of Pittsburgh, and very possibly the best physical specimen on the field. This man is a weightlifting freak. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WKYC TV3, television home of the Browns.
Welcome back to Tampa. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy. Early third quarter action. Here's a score from Miami, south of us. New Orleans 16, Miami nothing. The quarterback we just talked about a moment ago, Archie Manning to Ike Harris, 25 yards and a touchdown. And the Dolphins are hurting offensively. It is 3rd and 13 for Brian Sight. Short step back, throws it out in the flat. He'll be shy of the first down. He completes the pass. Frank Washington making the tackle on Reggie Rucker. And Sipe was tackled very hard in the backfield there by David Stahl, 65.
Not even trying to get it down the field. Rather interesting that he would not take a little more time, step up in the pocket, and try to get it downfield and get the first down.
You made a remark in the first quarter of this ball game. Of course, we don't come down here all that often, but this, for 72,000 people, is the quietest crowd I have ever heard.
Well, I think it's hot. They don't want to waste their energy.
Johnny Evans will be punting to Danny Reese back at his 25-yard line. Is Mr. Reese. And Evans gets this one off. A low line drive punt. Reese on the fly. 35-40. And head on at the 42-yard line. He's hit by Cleo Miller. And Reese is very, very slow in getting up. But he has given Tampa Bay excellent field position. And Evans still continues to have punting problems. Reese is down. 36 yards on the punt, 7 on the return.
Rodeo cowboy, never settling down. Don't you ever get lonesome from your traveling around.
When the day's work is done and the competition was a little rough, it's good to get back to some easy riding and a friend.
That's what friendly skies are all about.
I spent the whole day on my feet. I wish I could say that.
Spread your wings, fly away. Nothing's all that far. Follow the sunshine.
Got 3 fingers.
Reach for a star.
What was that bull's name? Bad Medicine. And he was.
There's friendship on high, where the eagle dares to fly.
Friend, that's the nicest ride I've had in a long time.
By the friendly sky. Rodeo cowboy, there you go once again. But I know you'll be back riding high with a friend.
Thursday on Games People Play, Scott Baio at the Soapbox Derby, Bronco busting, and a 65-year-old man who refuses to hang up his cleats. Games People Play Thursday.
Well, for all of you Tampa Bay fans, you can rest because Doug Williams is in there. Our report on him was just a slight ankle sprain. He is back in the ballgame. From the 42-yard line, the first offensive series of the second half for the Buccaneers. A little swing pass to Eckwood, 45. He didn't reach the 45. He ran head-on into linebacker Charlie Hall, 59, and Ron Bolton, the cornerback, 28. And he may have gained 3 yards on the completed pass. Pittsburgh has made a laugher out of the game against the Chicago Bears. Terry Bradshaw, 4 touchdown passes today after the Bears scored first. 3 of them to Jim Smith, 1 to Benny Cunningham. 31-3. The Super Bowl champions are back, if they've, in fact, been away for any length of time. I guess they did a week out in Cincinnati, didn't they, Bob?
Yes, they did. They went over there and committed suicide.
Second down and 7. This is Eckwood. 45 takes a good wrap at the line of scrimmage from Charlie Hall and falls forward for about a 4-yard gain. He's a very tough runner, and Eckwood is not a particularly big back. He's listed statistically at 6 feet, 200 pounds. He seems to play a little bit smaller to me, Bob.
Well, let me tell you something. Jerry Eckwood is from Arkansas, and he was in the All-American high school backfield with none other than Earl Campbell. And now that is just on paper. They never played together, but a very, very gifted player. He's caught 6 passes so far today for 49 yards, and we really thought that Jimmy Giles was going to get a lot of business.
Not yet, he hasn't. 3rd down and 3, 2 tight ends, Obradovich and Giles. You see Obradovich at the bottom of your, or Giles, it is number 88 at the bottom of your picture. 3rd and 3, Williams over the middle, has a man open at the 40. At the first down to Gordon Jones. Catch number 6 today for the former Pittsburgh All-American. 11 yards, and Tampa Bay has a first down at the Browns' 41-yard line. Free safety Tom Darden made the stop, but somebody's down on the field there. We have an injured Cleveland Brown.
Well, Sam, I want to tell you, Doug Williams certainly looked fine throwing that football, and Gordon Jones came back for the reception here. Watch Williams set up. It doesn't appear that he's having any problems with his ankle at all, and he still has a strong enough arm to catch it. I mean, to throw it out there on a line, and a good catch by Jones. That's 6 catches for 113 yards and a touchdown now for Jones. Let's see him set up, see if he favors it at all. Well, he doesn't appear to. Boy, he's got a strong arm. I'm telling you, he's got a strong arm.
The injured man is Don Good, the linebacker, and he is still seated at midfield Tampa Stadium. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jack Buck with an offer from Budweiser that's going to be hard to pass up, but easy to catch. It's the Budweiser Gripper Football, custom made by Rawlings for armchair quarterbacks like us. And it plays so much easier than a regular-sized football. To order your own Bud Ball, just look for this Catch Budweiser display wherever you buy the king of beers. You got it? Go get it. This Bud Ball is for you.
For 1981, a new Ram Tough Dodge pickup. Built tougher than ever, with better gas mileage, more than twice as much galvanized steel in critical areas. More than Ford or Chevy. Backed by Chrysler Corporation's 3-year rust perforation warranty. And this year's highest EPA estimates with automatic transmission. More than Ford or Chevy. Dodge pickup. Newer and tougher.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
Don Good walked off under his own power. He obviously is okay. Clifton Odom has replaced him at linebacker. So the Browns have two linebackers down at that right spot, Matthews and Good. Matthews didn't play at all today. Ricky Bell for a couple of yards. And while we have a 2-yard gain, let me run some scores down for you. It's been a while. Let's bring you right up to date on scores around the league. Third quarter, Buffalo 17, Oakland 7. The Bills trying to remain undefeated. At halftime, Cincinnati 10, Houston 7. The Bengals trying for their second straight upset. In the third quarter, Detroit 10, Minnesota 7. The Vikings giving the undefeated Lions all they can handle. Pittsburgh 31-3 over Chicago. In the third quarter, New Orleans continues to lead Miami 16-0. In the third quarter, Los Angeles 28, the New York Giants 0. Here it's 17-13 Cleveland. Tampa Bay second down and 9. Williams looking downfield, has a man and a great catch. Gordon Jones, and they don't allow it. They say he brought it in out of bounds, but an outstanding effort by Gordon Jones.
Bounced out of his hand, but almost a great reception. Williams obviously not bothered by that ankle. Cleveland coming with the blitz. That half roll out again, thrown before the receiver turns around, and he almost catches this ball. Watch just at the end of it. Can't hang on to it. The ball is jarred loose as he hits the ground.
Two other scores, Bob. St. Louis continues to lead Philadelphia 7-0. And Green Bay trying to keep Bart Starr as head coach. The rumor is that he loses today. He may be out. They have scored on a Steve Atkins 6-yard run. It's Dallas 7, Green Bay 7. You are up to date. Here it's third down and 10. A fairly important call for Doug Williams. Looking to the same play. Throws it, almost intercepted. Deflected at the line of scrimmage by Dick Ambrose, I believe, number 52. And almost intercepted by the Browns, so they have risen to the occasion again.
Well, they keep coming with that same play. You see Higgins in motion. I think you can see Ambrose just get his hand up on this ball. And they're bringing their linebackers out a little wider now to accommodate that half roll. And Tampa Bay is going to have to come with something else. You can go to the well only so many times.
Tom Blanchard trying to put Cleveland in a hole here. Keith Wright in single safety at his 12-yard line. And Blanchard will be looking for a corner. He has just been an outstanding punter ever since he replaced the injured David Green last year. Picking the right side. Trying to sail it out of bounds. He did. He caught it inside the 10. They step it off at the 9-yard line. So Blanchard, the distance not nearly as important, only 31 yards, but he puts the Cleveland Browns back at their 9-yard line. Cleveland leads it 17-13, third quarter. We'll be back.
Using this surgical fiber optic camera lens, Prestone Labs is going to show you what weak, neglected antifreeze can do to your radiator after only 9,000 miles.
Look at these passages. Rust, corrosion. Continued neglect could clog them and overheat this radiator.
Before this happens to you, put in Prestone 2. Prestone has a patented silicone silicate formula that forms a tough protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Prestone 2 and Prestone Super Flush. No wonder we're #1.
Can you see the difference between Firestone's steel-belted Trax 12 and other all-season radials? Firestone has special traction bars for pulling power in snow, but they're hidden in the Trax 12 tread for smooth, quiet turnpike driving. Long-lasting Trax 12, the all-season steel-belted radial with traction you can see. Traction 12 months a year. Trax 12, Firestone's lowest-priced steel-belted white wall radial.
NBC brought it to television first. The spectacular plays, the memorable moments. The World Series is back where it belongs, beginning October 14th on NBC.
Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy back in Cincinnati. Couple of updates. Tony Fritsch, a 27-yard field goal, fourth quarter. Houston and Cincinnati tied at 10. Ron Jaworski, a 1-yard run. Second quarter, Philly and St. Louis tied at 7. Some excellent football being played around the NFL again on this Sunday. No finer, perhaps, in the game here, 17-13. Cleveland staging a great second quarter rally. A flag is down as White gets outside. 15 to the 18-yard line. And tackle out of bounds by Mark Cotney.
The penalty's on him, too.
You think?
Illegal procedure. Move before the ball was snapped. There's some justice in that.
She has no relationship to that play whatsoever, other than the fact that she probably enjoyed it being a Tampa Bay fan. And the ball is coming back.
Illegal motion, number 25, offense, first down.
You never cease to amaze me, Mr. Trumpy.
Why?
You have been perfect today, have you not, in your
Well, I don't know. No, I had Don Cockcroft kicking for Tampa Bay.
But that wasn't a perception of an infraction.
What?
First and 14 at the 4-yard line. Sight from his own end zone. Throwing downfield to Ozzie Newsome at the 24. Norris Thomas made the stop. And I believe that is the first catch of the day for the Browns All-Pro tight end Ozzie Newsome. It is. And a penalty flag is down. Wow, what a big play. Sight from his own end zone.
And you got to admire Sam Rutigliano or Brian Sipe or whoever came up with the play. Personal foul against Tampa Bay on Norris Thomas.
Well, the play becomes even bigger now as they walk off the 15 on top of the completion of first down at the 39-yard line, a 35-yard play by the Browns.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 41, defense, first down.
We'll have to give credit to our spotter, Jim Rowe, for seeing that one, and not you, Bob.
Watch this one. The head slap by Norris Thomas. That's illegal. You can no longer use the hammer, as Fred Williamson named it a few years ago.
It almost appears to me as if the Buccaneers are starting to play out of frustration just a little bit. Losing their composure, if you will.
And I'm kind of surprised that they would be the ones to lose their composure.
Greg Pruitt stopped by Dewey Selman, but not before he picked up a couple of yards. It'll be second down and about 7 now for the Cleveland Browns. Norris Thomas is out. Danny Reese replaces him at left cornerback.
Cleveland's got to be patient right here. Not really try to get too much too soon. They're in the third quarter with 8:50 left to go. There's no hurry.
Both the Buffalo Bills and rookie running back Joe Cribbs are for real. Ferguson to Cribbs, 21 yards. The Bills blowing out Oakland at Buffalo today. And they will be 4-0 if they can hold the lead. He fakes the pitch and gives it off to number 43, Mike Pruitt. Stopped by Kohler, who was not fooled. A gain of a couple of yards. It'll be third down and about 2 or 3 to go. Dallas has gone back on top of Green Bay 14-7. Robert Newhouse a run of 1 yard.
From behind the defense, you saw the nose man, 76, Logan, go around the offensive center, Tom DeLeon, and he took the wrong side. Was that your date for last night, Sam?
That was it. It is now third down and 2 for Cleveland at their own 47. Pruitt in motion. Mike Pruitt gets the pitch. David Lewis stops the play, but look at the effort by Mike Pruitt. Lewis, who was out early on in this second half with what we think is a shoulder injury, has come back and made the great play. However, Pruitt made the great effort.
I agree with you totally. You got to admire that Cleveland offensive line. They've been on the field for the second and third quarter an awful long time, and they have done an excellent job against a very, very good defense in Tampa Bay.
Well, the Mike Pruitt story is an old one to Cleveland fans. They remember when he was a #1 draft choice in 1976 out of Purdue. He got the first down, but he fumbled considerably, thus thwarting his progress until Sam Rutigliano said, hey, you're my running back, you're my fullback, I got confidence in you. And Pruitt rewarded that confidence not only with that great effort, but with 1,260 yards last year, second rusher in the AFC.
That was a magnificent effort by David Lewis and also a magnificent effort by Mike Pruitt. That time, Mike Pruitt won.
First down at the Cleveland 49. They lead the game 17-13 with 7:22 to go in the third quarter. We have had no scoring here in the second half. Sipe has all day to throw the ball. Throws it to Mike Pruitt. 45, 50, 45, 40. Still on his feet and knocked out of bounds by Danny Reese, but he certainly punished the tackler on that particular play.
Absolutely uncovered. Sipe, he was open a long time before he could find him. You see him standing out there with his hands waving. And Sipe was obviously looking somewhere else. 17 yards on the reception. And this is one tough kid. 6 foot 225, and oh, hello.
Oh. 7:05 to go in the third quarter. Brian Sipe has carried his team from the 4-yard line to the 35 of Tampa Bay. Short drop, throws it out here again to Ozzie Newsome for short yardage. Covered by Cecil Johnson in his 4th year out of the University of Pittsburgh. It almost seems like Tampa Bay over the years has drafted in lots from different schools. 6 from Southern Cal, 3 from Oklahoma, 3 from Pittsburgh.
Not bad choices, though.
Well, they've been very good.
Pretty good football schools.
2nd down and 6 for Sipe. I am really impressed with the veteran quarterback today. He has really done a job on Tampa Bay. The Bucs trying to stop him here. Trailing already 17-13. Good pressure by Logan, and down he goes way back at the 42-yard line. And David Logan just beat Tom DeLeon.
That was Tampa's 2nd sack of the day against the Cleveland Browns. Last year they had 40. To this point, going into this game, they'd only had 4. Watch Logan go around. 3-man blitz, a game up front. He just gets by Tom DeLeon, and Kawapa to good old Mother Earth. That'll certainly change your mind about what you're going to do the next time. Watch this. Yes, sir. Hello. Hello, grass.
3rd down and 15 from the 40-yard line of Tampa Bay, and the crowd is as loud as it's been all day. They have come alive here, knowing that their Buccaneers are in a bit of trouble. Sipe has all day, throws it out to Pruitt again at the 45, 40, and this time they got him. Shy of the sticks of the 37-yard line. That play was covered just a wee bit better. Dewey Selman, 58. Richard Wood, 54. Also, Danny Reese was there. So it's going to be 4th down.
Interesting situation here. They're going to punt the ball from about the 46 or 47-yard line. I wonder. You're leading by 4 points. I wonder. They really don't have anybody in there too big, but
isn't this where Sam got some criticism last week, late in the ball game from the 33-yard line of Kansas City? Had Johnny Evans run with the football?
Well, I remind you of this. Johnny Evans is also a quarterback, so let's see what might happen. Planning for
This time he punts it, and he's looking for a corner, but he doesn't get it. Bounces right into the end zone and out of the field of play. It'll be a touchback. 37 yards on the punt by Tampa Bay, trailing by 4 with 4:51 to go in the third quarter. Has the ball back again. They will start from their own 20-yard line when we come back to Tampa Stadium.
America's not going to be pushed around anymore.
The K cars are here. Front-wheel drive Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage 6-passenger car, challenges Toyota Corona. Each starts with 12 gallons of gas. Toyota says, oh, what a feeling. But for mileage, you'll feel better with Aries. Look, the 4-passenger Corona runs out after 444 miles. The 6-passenger Aries goes on almost 50 miles further. America's not going to be pushed around anymore. Aries K at your Dodge Ram dealer. The American way to beat the pump.
I didn't know I had. They got me doing things I never thought I could. Feeling good, feeling strong, part of something I belong.
The Army can make you feel a lot of ways. Challenged, trained, and proud.
With this time, with these people, with this feeling, feeling good, feeling good.
Welcome back to Tampa. It may have been in Johnny Evans' mind to do something other than kick that football, Bob.
Yeah, I think it's a design play that if Tampa's up on the line of scrimmage, they're going to rush the punter, then Evans is going to run it. Watch all of the offensive linemen of the Cleveland Browns go to the right. Johnny Evans saw that several linebackers were off the line of scrimmage and looking for that, so he punted.
First down for the Bucs from their 20-yard line. Eckwood straight ahead for 4. And ripped down by Robert L. Jackson, 56. Marshall Harris, number 90, who has just done an outstanding job replacing Jerry Shirk. Harris is in his first year out of Texas Christian at 6'6", 261. He wears number 90 as you look at Eckwood's stats on the day.
Doug Williams still at quarterback, reminding you that he had an ankle sprain.
Give him a gain of 4, second down and 6. 17-13, Cleveland leading Tampa Bay. The Bucs were favored by 3.5. Johnny Davis in the backfield is yet to carry the ball. Ricky Bell looking for a Davis block, trying to get away from Robert Jackson, but look at the Cleveland pursuit, and down he goes inside the 20-yard line.
Great play, R.L. Jackson. Absolutely fantastic. Came underneath the guard, the pulling guard's block, and was right there to get Bell. Watch number 56. You'll see him shoot into your picture underneath the guard. Oh, and he takes on the backside guard, Ray Snell, and that'll ruin any play.
Well, they spot the ball at the 20.5-yard line. Let's call it the 20. Make it third down and 10. Keep it even.
Certainly not very good statistics for Ricky Bell. And normally the Tampa Bay Bucs don't win a game that Ricky Bell doesn't gain a lot of yards.
Well, he's averaging under 4 yards a carry. Has yet to score a touchdown in 1980. Ricky Bell. Third down conversions, not bad today. Williams needs one. Over the middle, and he overthrew his intended receiver. Jim Abramovich, the tight end, coming across the middle at the 28-yard line. And so the Buccaneers offense seems to be, find a word for me.
Impatient. Impatient.
Blanchard is on to do the punting, and Cleveland again should have the ball in fairly good field position.
Tampa has not really run the ball very well today at all.
3:17 to go. A very, very fast third quarter. And Blanchard gets his punt away at the 38-yard line. It's right to the 45. 50 into Tampa Bay territory at the 47-yard line and brought down there. Tony Davis, number 27, is the first man to stop him. And the Browns, with superb field position, already leading by 4, are looking for more. 15 yards of a 40-yard punt return.
Oh, great. Fried stereo.
Don't worry. We've got insurance.
Oh, Mom, the stereo will cost a bundle to replace today.
Our Allstate policy will cover it.
Right. If you buy Allstate's new replacement cost coverage on contents, we'll replace most personal property at today's prices.
We'll replace it. Oh, we can get a new stereo?
But this time, let's put it there, away from the fireplace.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
And that's a promise from us, the good hands people.
You take 1,000 hearts up here with you. Make them skip a beat. Then take them back down to Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer.
When it's time to relax,
Miller High Life.
one beer stands clear. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Brian Sipe & Company about to go back to work again. Much to the chagrin of that young man, who obviously wears his partiality out in the open. 72,000 fans, most of them dressed in orange. And that is a revealing statistic. Nobody has run the ball very well today at all.
And Brian Sipe is 17 of 26, throwing the ball for 220 yards. John Manson will throw it right here.
And the give on first down to Pruitt. Runs right into Leroy Selman, who knocks him down for a gain of about a yard. Dave Logan, 76, was also there. Second down, 9.
This is what the people in Tampa expect of their defense right now, to rise up and come up with a big play, either an interception, a fumble recovery, or stop this drive of the Cleveland Browns before it gets started.
Cliff Stout has gotten into the act. He can now legitimately qualify for his pension. Do you believe he played all those years, qualified for his pension, never took a snap from center? Today, Cliff Stout of the Pittsburgh Steelers has played in his first regular season game and thrown a touchdown pass to Franco Harris. Sipe throws it out in the flat. It's complete. It was running back Pruitt, who stopped immediately by David Lewis. A gain of about 4 yards on the completion. It'll be 3rd down and 6, and Sipe continues to go short and has done it rather successfully through the 2nd and 3rd quarters of this game with only 2:11 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Sam Martigliano probably feeling pretty good right now.
Calvin Hill, Bob. Calvin Hill in on 3rd down and 6. He caught a touchdown pass earlier. Mike Pruitt in the backfield with him. Sipe with good protection. Has a man wide open, completed the 15-yard line.
Willis had it.
Yes, it is. Number 1 draft choice of last year. Out of the University of Houston, a real speed burner, wearing number 80 and making a big catch for a 1st down.
And you're right, he is a big catch guy, too. Last week he had 2 catches, averaged 28 yards for each catch. This one, 30 yards. And Cleveland is anxious for this guy to really develop. The University of Houston, one of the real fast guys that Cleveland has ever had. Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
So from the 14-yard line, the Browns have really owned this football game from the 2nd quarter on. Tampa Bay had a chance to blow them out early, came away with just 2 Garo Yepremian field goals, and they're paying the price right now. Trailing 17-13. Sipe, play action. Throws into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. Ricky Feature, number 83, with a great catch, and Sipe showed a great amount of patience.
Sam, I'm going to tell you, too, Ricky Feature was the 2nd receiver. He was intending that pass for Keith Wright, who was held up at the line of scrimmage he was coming from the flanker spot. A good adjustment by Brian Sipe, and Ricky Feature didn't give up on his quarterback. And that's another 6 points. 23-13 with Cockcroft. Bad knee and all on to make it 24-13.
And with the extra point, the Browns will have scored 3 unanswered touchdowns. Charles White, the 8-yard run. The pass to Calvin Hill. This kick is up, and it is good. And now the touchdown pass to Ricky Feature of 14 yards. And in the heat and humidity of Tampa, Florida, where you would think that Tampa Bay might have the advantage, the Cleveland Browns own an 11-point lead. Here it is again, Bob.
As I said, he's looking out to Keith Wright. He's well covered out there. Feature does not give up on his quarterback. Coming across the end zone, well thrown by Sipe, in amongst the crowd. Boy, I want to tell you, Cleveland, as you said, Sam, has really turned it on. 53 yards, 4 plays, 2 minutes and 13 seconds for the score. And Tampa Bay football players and fans are stunned.
And if there is anything to be optimistic about as far as the Browns are concerned, it's that their defense has also come of age. They played very well early on. Don't forget, next Saturday, Pennant Fever on NBC Sports. Exciting doubleheader action coverage of both crucial matchups, the Expos and the Phillies, or the Astros against the Dodgers. Next Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time here on NBC. We invite you to check your listings for the game and times in your area. And then we go right on, and we'll have the climax for you, the World Series.
Man, this is very reminiscent of what happened to Tampa last week. In the first half, they were very even with Dallas, and they gave up an awful lot of yards in the second half, and it was really 2 completely different football games. First half, second half, and it's happened here today to their defense.
Gary Davis is the deep receiving man for Tampa Bay. They're down 24-13 after leading this game 13-3. Davis hit his 8-yard line. To the 20, has an opening, 25, 30, and a good open field tackle on the far side. I still don't know who it was, but somebody made an excellent tackle on the far side of the field.
It was McDonald Oath.
Might have been number 84. Davis looked like he was going to turn it back up again.
Number 24.
Autry Beeman, who was just acquired this week on waivers after being cut by the Seattle Seahawks. A veteran of a few years in the league, 6 years out of East Texas State. From the 31-yard line. Well, you've got to make it happen now with 42 seconds to go, 3rd quarter.
Higgins
throws it down the middle, and Higgins dropped the ball at the 48-yard line. He had Bell wide open over the middle, And he went to Higgins, and Isaac couldn't catch the ball. And has he got one reception all day?
Worth repeating, Sam, this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team probably leads the league in drop passes for whatever reason. The ball certainly should have been caught.
Second down and 10, stops the clock with 38 seconds to go in the half. And the Browns in the prevent defense, knowing that Williams has got to put it up. Bell 42, Eckler 43 of the running backs. Throws a little screen pass. Bell 35, stumbles to the 39-yard line. He'll be 2 yards shy. That was kind of a very quick screen, Bob. They didn't set that one up very well, or was it designed not to be set up?
Well, I'll tell you what, they didn't really want it to be a long screen, as they say. A quick screen, you take advantage of the linebackers dropping very deep, and your running back gets a step out there.
Conrad Rucker, number 80, into the lineup as a blocking tight end. Jimmy Giles, number 88, stays in the lineup on 3rd down and 2, and Tampa Bay has failed to pick up a first down in its first 2 possessions of the second half. And they won't get a chance here in the 3rd quarter because the time has expired. So we have come to the end of 3 quarters at Tampa Stadium. It's Cleveland 24, Tampa Bay 13. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Sunday on Disney, a teenage scientist turns into the Shaggy Dog. And on Chips, Punch and John learn a shocking secret about a fellow officer. Then, every hour they live brings us closer to death. Who are the boys from Brazil? Gregory Peck and Laurence Olivier in a movie thriller. First time on TV. Disney, Chips, then The Boys from Brazil. Sunday.
Genesee is believing.
Nothing fires me up like football season in Genesee country.
That's why we go back for the big game every year.
For good friends and good times, there's no place on earth like Genesee country, and no taste like Genesee for putting out a thirst.
You can count on Jenny Taste, cause it's brewed in just one place. Genesee is believing.
I love this house. It was like an orphan when we adopted it. Now it's adopted us. 11 months ago, my husband died suddenly. It was an awful shock, but it would have been so much worse if we'd had to move. Thank goodness we bought mortgage life insurance from Nationwide when we insured our home.
Mortgage life insurance. It's part of Nationwide's blanket protection for your family.
Nationwide is on your side.
Join Leon and me for a complete weekend report tonight at 11.
Big play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First play of the 4th quarter. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy welcome back to Tampa. The Cleveland Browns leading 24-13. The Buccaneers a 3rd down and 2 at their own 39-yard line. From the eye, the pitch is to Ricky Bell, and a great defensive play by the Cleveland Browns. It was to Eckwood, and he's dropped back at the 35-yard line. Clarence Scott, the strong safety, coming on the run.
Committed all the way. Nobody blocks him. You see the guard trying to get out there to get a hit on him. That's Ray Snell, but whoa, what a play by Clarence Scott.
And for the 3rd time in this half, Tampa Bay will have to punt. I don't believe they picked up a first down in the second half yet, Bob. Blanchard back at his 20-yard line. He will be punting to Keith Wright, number 89.
Tampa is now 5 of 14 in 3rd down conversions.
Got a couple of scores for you. We'll give it to you right after this punt. 24-13. The Browns in control will have the football back again. Keith Wright at his 25. Looking for the wedge. Falls down at the 32-yard line, and that's where the Cleveland Browns will go to work. Okay, let's check some scores. Houston, Tony Fritsch, a 29-yard field goal. 5:33 gone in the 4th quarter. It's 13-10. The Oilers lead Cincinnati. Gary Danielson to Freddie Scott, 45 yards. Detroit, 17-7 over Minnesota. The Lions try to remain undefeated. So is Philadelphia, but they are losing at the moment. Steve Little, a 31-yard field goal. The Cardinals have taken a 10-7 lead over Philadelphia. And don't forget all the scores and highlights following us. And then we'll have a second half of our NBC doubleheader. You'll see either Seattle and Washington, Baltimore and the Jets. One of those 2 games on NBC's doubleheader Sunday. Reggie Rucker in motion from the 32-yard line of Cleveland. And the give is to Greg Pruitt for about a yard. Stopped there by Richard Wood, the right inside linebacker.
Sam Martigliano's got Greg Pruitt in there been in there a couple of times, but he doesn't really appear to have the leg strength and that after that knee surgery to really drive the way he used to. He was a real scat back. He'd kind of dance along behind the line of scrimmage and all of a sudden break up through there. There's Gary Upermian from Bald State.
Distinguished career in this league, isn't it? Second down and 9. Mike Pruitt, 43, is the up back. Play action for Sight. He throws it out in the flat and caught by Pruitt.
Look at that.
And the tackler bounced right off him. I believe it was Mike Washington, and Pruitt inflicted more damage on Washington than the other way around. And he got very close to a first down. Boy, Mike Pruitt is really a horse.
What a bull. He also was able to hang on to the football, which is even more incredible than taking the hit. Watch this. The ball and the tackler get there at exactly the same time, and he hangs on to it. And Dewey Selman, as always, on the tackle.
And they bring the sticks in to check and see whether or not he got enough yardage for the first down. So the Browns, with 13-14 to go in regulation time, leading by 11, are definitely in control of this football game. They seem to have wrestled the impetus away early in the second quarter and have not given it back. First down. They move the sticks, and the Browns have moved the football very well from the 42-yard line. And the Buccaneers defense, which was #1 in the National Football League last year, has not exactly lived up to some of...
Not a bad stat. 13 straight.
Here's a give now to Mike Pruitt. Dancing his way to the 47-yard line and close to another Cleveland first down. Cecil Johnson making the stop, but again, the Browns very close to another first down if they haven't got it.
Always nice to have a little insurance in your hand. Like Mike Pruitt in the first quarter, they didn't use him at all. Going to go with something different. In the last 3 quarters, he has really emerged as the great running back that he is. Worth repeating once again, 1,294 yards in 1979.
And a yard shy of the first down on that carry. Second down and 1 for Cleveland. They slot Rucker to the left. And White and Pruitt, the tandem in the backfield again. The give is to Mike Pruitt. First down as he falls forward to about the 47-yard line of Tampa Bay. And Sipe has just been a masterful quarterback. I mean, I know Tampa Bay fans don't want to hear that, but he has really run this offense masterfully from the second quarter on.
And let's also give credit to the offensive line of the Cleveland Browns. They have done an absolutely tremendous job all day long. They suffered a lot of problems in the first quarter, but they have really settled down and manhandled this Tampa defense for 3 quarters.
And New Orleans continues to pull off the upset at Miami. Our producer, Michael Hadley, who hails from the lovely southern city of New Orleans, will be happy to know that it's 16-7. New Orleans over Miami, 4th quarter. Here's a give now. Pruitt trying to get outside. Good tackle. Curtis Jordan, a free safety. Dropping Greg Pruitt for a loss, and a penalty marker is down. Detroit has scored again. Ray Oldham on a 29-yard interception, as you see the holding indication against Cleveland. And the Lions lead Minnesota 24-7. Wow. There are some teams that you might have been a little skeptical about before today that you are going to have to say are for real after today, like Detroit and Buffalo, to name 2.
You have to include San Francisco in that group, although they
play Atlanta later today out in San Francisco. They're 3-0. You're right. Here's our referee, Jerry Markwright, with the call.
Holding, number 63, offense, first down.
That would be Cody Rison, the second-year man out of Texas A&M, who has played so well as a young offensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns. You see him there, 63, not of that particular play.
Kind of a takedown there, but
one of his opponents, Herb Orvis in Baltimore, went up to Sam Ratigliano after a game and said, "You got a great tackle in Cody Rison."
He came in this year about 15 or 20 pounds heavier than he was last year, too.
First and 20 for Cleveland, leading 24-13. Throwing it down to Calvin Hill and just out of his reach. Hill stretched himself out, as did Danny Reese, the defender, number 46. Neither was able to come up with the football. It stops the clock with 11:16 to go, and the Bucs got to be thinking about the clock also at this stage, down by 2 touchdowns. Actually, it's 11 points, but you got to score 2 touchdowns.
I mentioned that offensive line a minute ago. Look at the job they're doing against Tampa Bay. And this is a good defense, rushing four defensive linemen. Richard Wood in there, too, is one of those defensive linemen trying to get it. Good protection. And that's the secret to winning the football game. You can protect your quarterback and control the line of scrimmage. You lead 24-13.
Second down at 20. Calvin Hill remains in there. They give us to Greg Pruitt. A quick opener. 45 at Tampa Bay and dragged down. But an excellent call by Brian Sipe. Found a little daylight for Pruitt, and he quickly rattled off about 15 yards.
It may have been exactly what he needed. 16 yards on the carry, and he really hasn't popped one off yet this year. Coming back from very, very bad knee surgery. There you see the Greg Pruitt of old. Is still a little weak in the legs, but nevertheless, that may be a big hurdle for Greg Pruitt to get over.
Tackled by Danny Reese, and a good one. Pruitt still limping a little bit on the sidelines. Things are not right for that great football player out of Oklahoma. He has had some years that Cleveland fans will not soon forget. He has accounted for 9,500 yards in his career at Cleveland. Third to Leroy Kelly and Jim Brown. There's a touchdown, maybe. Behind the secondary, Calvin Hill, touchdown. Whoa, is Sipe had a day. And not a bad one for Calvin Hill. 44 yards. Sipe to Hill, and the Browns now lead it 30-13. They may have been caught in the blitz again, Bob.
Single coverage all the way. Calvin Hill, a veteran receiver, over Richard Wood. And it's a foot race. And even though Calvin Hill is he's kind of getting up there in years, but a great adjustment to the football and a well-run pattern. And he just single-handedly beat. Look at that. Look at him adjust to the pass reception on Richard Wood.
They blitzed both Reese and Cotney on that particular play, and Sipe read it beautifully. An injured Buccaneer is still down at about the 5-yard line. It is Richard Wood, number 54.
I think his pride is hurt more than anything else.
I hope that's all that's hurt.
And Brian Sipe last week with his 23 of 36 and 295 yards and 2 touchdowns is today 22 of 32 for 319 yards and 2 touchdowns. Who said that Brian Sipe had a sore arm?
28 touchdown passes in 1979 for that young man. And he out of San Diego State now in his 7th year. And he has given the Browns a seemingly insurmountable lead with 10:20 to go. We'll have the extra point in a moment.
We want to make you smile.
Welcome back. I see you brought a friend.
My boss hasn't smiled the whole trip. My back.
I think you'll like our beds.
Big room.
Everything all right?
That's fine. Call me for dinner. In an hour.
We made him smile.
Come to Holiday Inn where your smile sits. We're #1 people pleasing.
Shell Fire and Ice 10W40 motor oil became famous for protection. How about gas mileage? To dramatize average lab test results, we have 2 cars. One with the improved Shell Fire and Ice formula, the other with the old. Each with 1 gallon of gas. One car out of gas. The other, with the improved formula, goes 1/3 mile farther. Shell Fire and Ice. Formulated for better gas mileage.
Well, they say that one picture is worth 1,000 words. In this case, it couldn't be more appropriate. 95 degrees in Tampa, 80% humidity. And I would imagine that Buccaneer fans have other reasons to be hot at the moment because Cockcroft was just converted. And it's now 31 for Cleveland, 13 for Tampa Bay. And the Buccaneers at one point in this game led 13-3, Bob. This is really a surprise. Brian Sipe having himself quite an afternoon, to say the least. 31-13. And his statistics speak for themselves.
I got one for you. Brian Sipe just became the first quarterback to ever throw for 300 yards against the Tampa Bay defense. How about that?
That's not bad at all.
Last week, another negative defensive record for the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Dallas Cowboys were the first team to score 4 touchdowns on the Tampa Bay defense. And for the second week in a row, a defensive record, an offensive record set against a very, very good defense. This is a great moral victory for Cleveland in this heat. Now 2-2 on the season, if we can project 10 minutes and 20 seconds from now.
mass orange heading for the exits here at Tampa Bay. It is exodus of the partisans, trailing 31-13 as they start to head out on a very warm afternoon, and the Buccaneers have not exactly performed up to their expectation.
And the Cleveland Browns have not wilted in this heat.
Can't give them enough credit. The defense did it early on and kept Tampa Bay out of the end zone when the Buccaneers had the pressure on. And then Sipe finally got the offense on track in the second quarter, and from then they have sailed.
That may have been the secret, the defense not allowing Tampa to get the ball in the end zone for a touchdown, but rather just 2 field goals.
The Browns go home next Sunday to entertain the Denver Broncos in what should be an outstanding football game. Bob and I plan on being there for that one. Kick into the end zone and out of the field of play from the 20-yard line. Tampa will go to work again. Here are the scores that we have right up to the moment. It is now final. The Buffalo Bills are 4-0. They have defeated Oakland today by a score of 24-7. Joe Cribbs ran for 1 touchdown, caught a pass from Joe Ferguson for another. Fourth quarter, Tony Fritz's field goal. The difference in that one, 13-10 Houston. Detroit 24-7 over the Vikes. Gary Danielson has thrown a touchdown pass. Pittsburgh, 4 Terry Bradshaw touchdown passes, 1 by Cliff Stout. 38-3 over Chicago in a lapper. New Orleans continues to lead Miami. The Dolphins are on the board. Let's get back to this game. Doug Williams on first down. Over the middle, he's got a man wide open. Number 28, Gary Davis, gets the first down to about the 34. And that's about the first thing they've had to cheer about here in the second half. In a lapper, the Rams 28-0 over the New York Giants. Ray Perkins has got to be in trouble, or at least in his own mind. The Cardinals in what may be the upset of the day at the moment. 10-7 over Philly at the half. And in the only other game, Green Bay hanging tough at Dallas. 14-7. Bart Starr's job perhaps on the line if Green Bay does not win. From the 35-yard line, let's call it. Doug Williams looking downfield, throws instead. Eckwood dropped the ball. And he had a blocker out in front of him. 74, Gene Sanders, but Eckwood could not hold the football.
I swear he just took his eye off the ball. That was right in his breadbasket, right between the 4 and the 3.
Well, if you're a Tampa Bay fan and you're looking ahead to next Sunday, your Buccaneers will be in Chicago to play the Bears, who are coming off at least a 38-3 loss to Pittsburgh today. That'll be next week.
I think it's worth mentioning that Tampa had a 10-6 record last year, won the NFC Central Division, but 6 of their 10 victories came against NFC Central teams, and they were not a very strong division collectively last year, although this is a very good team.
Second and 10, and over the head of Jim Obranovich, the intended receiver, another former Southern California Trojan who played his college ball under John McKay, but a flag is down, and the preliminary call is against Tampa Bay. Holding.
I certainly don't want anybody in the Tampa area to think that I don't feel that this is a great football team. I do, but it's always difficult to duplicate a 10-6 record. And with the improvement in Detroit, it's not going to be as easy to have that 10-6 record this year. In fact, John McKay himself said that he felt that an 11-5 record would get them to the playoffs. Well, in 9 minutes and 27 seconds, they're going to be 2-2.
And I think we also should not fail to mention the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing without Randy Crowder and without Cedric Brown. 2 outstanding defensive players.
Holding, number 75, offense.
That would be Dave Revis, the former Pittsburgh Steeler who came here to Tampa Bay in the allocation draft, now in his 6th year out of Arkansas. And the clock is a telling tale against Tampa Bay.
Dave Revis is one of only 2 guys left out of that veterans allocation. Mark Cotton the other. They have really paired this team over the last 4 years with draft choices.
Second down and 20 now for quarterback Doug Williams. Good protection, throws it straight down the middle, and it is intercepted by the Browns. Clinton Burrell, 35, looking for a block to the 40, 45, and out of bounds on the far side at the 47-yard line. Making his first start for the injured Oliver Davis, at least this year. Burrell, in his 2nd year out of LSU, has his 2nd interception, I believe, of the day.
Now, this ball is overthrown. And you got to wonder what Doug Williams feels like back there. He throws enough passes that should be caught, and then he overthrows one, and I'm sure everyone will once again ask John McKay, can that man play quarterback in the NFL? I say he can.
I say he can too, just not on this Sunday afternoon. We'll be back to Tampa Bay in just a moment.
A bright red fire truck, a blue calliope, a yellow moon, a pink balloon, a golden Dixie jamboree. Yes, America's true colors come through on GE.
GE TV brings you America's true colors, vivid and lifelike. And with GE Special VIR2 circuit, the color is automatically adjusted.
Yes, America's true colors come through on GE. GE, we bring good things to life.
Ram Tough Dodge is brand new for 1981. Built tougher than ever. With better mileage, biggest standard payloads, carbon steel frames, 7 steel cross members. More than Ford or Chevy. New EPA estimates, too. Best gasoline mileage with automatic transmission. More than Ford or Chevy. Dodge pickup. Newer, tougher.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
NBC's Great Day of Football continues later today with exciting regional action featuring the Seahawks-Redskins Rumble. And next Sunday, start your day with NFL 80, followed by great football. Telecasts include the Steelers versus the Vikings. Check local listings.
9:11 to go in regulation time. Clinton Burrell's second interception of the day has given the Browns excellent field position. If Tampa gets it back again, that young man will go in at quarterback, presumably. He is Chuck Fusina, now in his second year out of Penn State. Here's a quick pitch. Charles White, number 25, the ball carrier. Stopped by Danny Reese, 46, after a short game. It'll be second down, and I would imagine Sipe would like to run off heaps of time on the clock, wouldn't he?
There's a very dejected Doug Williams talking to head coach John McKay. And as we said in the pregame program, John McKay is not going to give up on Doug Williams. He came back from that ankle injury at the end of the first half, and he is the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm sure John McKay has had a lot of good players that have gone through bad days. This is just one for Doug Williams.
Second down, 9 for Cleveland at the 48-yard line of the Browns, leading 31-13. Fumble!
Never got the ball.
No, Cleo Miller never really had his hands on it. Tampa's got it back again. And they've got their work cut out for them with 8:19 to go. They're going to have to cash immediately. Let's see if Fusina comes in or whether now, with the turnover, Doug Williams remains on the field. It will be
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams. Leroy Selman is the man who recovered the fumble.
Cleo Miller never really got the football here. This, I think, is what they've expected of the Tampa Bay defense. A big turnover like that, maybe a little late.
You have echoed my sentiments exactly. 31-13 from the midfield stripe. Tampa Bay has it.
Hey, a little one-on-one. I have to do some yard work. Or Michelob Light. I don't have to do any yard work.
Would good friends really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
102 to 98. How did you do it? Defense?
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
Home energy bills have become outrageous, and that's the good news. The bad news, they're expected to double again in the next 10 years. But you can fight back. Get up in your attic and add another layer of Owens Corning fiberglass insulation on top of the insulation you already have. Put your house in the pink. See your dealer or contractor for more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now.
Sam, last year the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won every game in which Leroy Selman had a sack. Today, against Doug Beacon, the offensive tackle of the Cleveland Browns, Leroy Selman has not had a sack.
And it doesn't look like they're going to win. James throwing long downfield, bobbled around and not caught. But Doug Williams throwing the ball. I'm sorry, Larry Mucker, the intended receiver. Double coverage downfield. Tom Darden was there. And Williams wanted really air out there. He threw that ball 50 yards in the air, didn't he?
Yes, and I wonder why, too, that play called from the sideline, so you can't blame Doug Williams. But they have 8:11 left here. Why be so impatient to throw it all the way? You know that Cleveland's going to be playing way, way deep. And everybody knows he can throw it 50 yards, but he's covered. Seems to me if they just try to put together a drive here, conserve some time instead of going for the home run ball, make a little more sense. Now 2nd and 10.
Ron Bolton with the good coverage. Second down at 10 from the 50-yard line. We'll run about 3 finals for you right after this play. Lone setback for Tampa Bay. Ricky Bell as Williams swings it out of the flat, and it's dropped again. Wow. And now the crowd's starting to get on the receiver in that particular case, Ricky Bell. Well, that's a perfect example of some of the problems that they've had. Here's some final scores for you. It is all over. Houston has hung on to beat Cincinnati. Did I hear you say something, Mr. Trump?
Yeah, I said
13-10, Tony Fritsch, a couple of late field goals to win it without Earl Campbell. And Pittsburgh 38-3 over Chicago. Terry Bradshaw had 4 touchdown passes in that one. We'll get some more for you here in just a few moments. 3rd down and 10 from the 50. 2 setbacks, both out of the backfield. Williams over the middle. Gary Davis inside the 40, got a first down to about the 37-yard line. A necktie tackle by Bill Cowher in his first year out of North Carolina State. But Gary Davis, the former Miami Dolphin, picks up a first down to keep Tampa alive. It's 31-13, Cleveland leading in the ball game.
Well, finally, one of the running backs catches a pass from Doug Williams. That's not thrown very hard. And Tampa has had their chances. They have just dropped passes all over the field, and you certainly can't blame Doug Williams for that.
Elvis Peacock ran for 3 touchdowns today. The Rams clobbered the Giants, and the Lions are undefeated at 4-0.
Wow.
That will not come as good news to Tampa Bay fans.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. And a quick pitch over the middle as he avoided the rush, and this time Davis could not hold on to the football. It's incomplete. 2nd down and 10. This is a very difficult offense to run. You're down 3 touchdowns. You're trying to get something on the board. The Browns are just laying back, waiting for you to put it up in the air.
And Sam, also to go with that, Doug Williams, only in his 3rd year. I think he has the talent to play quarterback, but he really has not been in the situation long enough as a starting quarterback in the NFL, regardless of his color, to really be as gifted at coming back and being patient to throw the football as people like Ken Stabler and people like Brian Sipe. He's just learning on the job, and I think John McKay is correct in putting him in here and let him learn on the job.
2nd down and 10. Williams accounted for 335 yards in offense last week at Dallas. His first carry of the day out of bounds at the 30. He'll pick up about 7 yards on that play. He ran for 77 last Sunday and threw for 258. 335 yards in total offense for that 3rd-year quarterback out of Grambling. And they say it's not even fair to call him a 3rd-year quarterback because he missed half of his rookie year with an injury. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WKYC TV3, television home of the Browns.
7:08 to go in 4th quarter. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy from Tampa. We're running a little bit late with this game. We will, of course, have a 2nd game of our doubleheader for most of you watching it. And we'll update you on the scores before we leave here. Over the middle and dropped by Gary Davis, although that pass in Davis's defense was a wee bit low.
Underthrown.
Many of you will see Seattle and Washington will join that in progress as soon as this game is over, or the New York Jets at Baltimore. But before we leave here, I promise to bring you right up to date on the other scores.
And Cleveland's defense has played a whale of a game today, even in the 2nd quarter, even in the 2nd half. Look at there. Franks, good job getting to the quarterback. And the offensive line of both of these teams, or of Cleveland and the defensive line, played a great ball game in the face of adversity.
Ronnie Lee, a 2-yard run for Miami, and the Dolphins coming back from a 16-0 deficit. 5:54 elapsed in the 4th quarter, and they're down by only 2 to New Orleans. It's a 1st down for Tampa Bay. Oh,
4th down.
4th down and 3. I'm sorry. 4th down and 3, and they're going for it. Obviously with nothing to lose.
Run it, run it.
Williams has all sorts of room. Out of bounds? No, he elects to go down shy of the out of bounds with 20 at the 22-yard line. And why he didn't go out of bounds to stop the clock, I'll never know. There wasn't that much more that he could have gotten, Bob.
Well, his ankle is definitely bothering him.
Maybe
definitely
he just
bothering
couldn't
him.
Get there, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Rather than take a chance of being out for the next 12 football games, I think he made the right choice, although going out of bounds. But you see the competitive spirit in Doug Williams. Watch this. He's hurt. He's got a bad ankle. All of a sudden he gives a juke and thinks about going upfield. then thinks better about it and falls on the ground. You got to admire somebody like that.
Autry Beeman made the stop, but not before he got the first down from the 23 of Cleveland. Gordon Jones and Kevin House are the wide receivers. 2 setbacks. Jerry Davis and Ricky Bell. And again, Williams chased out of the pocket, throws it into the end zone.
Watch out, watch out.
Way out of play. Good catch by House, but way out of the field to play. It'll be second down. The clock stops with 6:10 to go.
No harm, no harm. Throw an incompletion. Don't throw an interception here. Look at him throw that football.
You know, I hate to be an alarmist. I don't want to say anything. But if Tampa could get 6 here, 6:10 is an awful lot of time to play football.
Hey, listen, stranger things have happened.
The reason that it doesn't seem like it's that much time is because the Buccaneers have not threatened. Cardinals, O.J. Anderson, a 1-yard run. Look at this. In St. Louis, 7:51 elapsed in the third quarter. The Cardinals are upsetting the Eagles. If Williams could get him into the end zone now, at 31-20, they got a chance. Throws a little flare pass and Eckwood carelessly reaching out with one hand. Couldn't hold on to the ball.
We've dealt with this subject all day long. I'm not sure who's to blame, but passes like that should be caught, whether the quarterback was too hurried in his throw or the receiver really was looking upfield rather than concentrating on the football, whatever. But I think if I were John McKay, I'd line my running backs up, and the next practice we had, it would be 2 hours of catching the football from Doug Williams.
I think
and nothing else.
The most constructive thought that we've had all day.
Well, he's probably already done it, because I've said before, they lead the league in drop passes.
And so McKay showing his frustration by pacing the sidelines a bit. On the day, Doug Williams has put it up 39 times. They don't look bad on paper, but his team is trailing 31-13.
That's a personal record for him, too, 39 attempts.
And he throws this one. It's caught by Eckwood. Good catch this time, and look at the extra effort. Fumbles. Caught by Giles. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
Whoa.
Oh.
Just the way they draw it up.
And I'll tell you something. Give Eckwood credit. Maybe he knows that he did not make an all-out effort on the initial reception before that, and gave a particularly good effort after that. Great catch there.
Maybe they can't make the easy catch. The tough catch they can make.
They may not allow that touchdown. Let's get the explanation.
I'll tell you what, yeah, that's the Oakland rule where you can't advance the ball forward, but that's not a good call because they didn't advance the ball forward. That ball was knocked out of his hands. That ball was fumbled forward. If we can see that again, you can see a defensive man coming in right behind Eckwood and knock it out of his arms.
So they walk off 5 yards, and here's referee Jerry Markbright to explain a confusing situation, I'm sure.
Illegal forward pass, number 43, offense. First down, Tampa Bay.
Now, wait a minute. I may be wrong on this, and if I am, I'll certainly apologize next week. But I think this is only true in the last 2 minutes of a half or the game.
That would be for a legitimate fumble. They're calling this a forward pass. This is not even a fumble. You're right about that rule.
Okay, watch this. He gets hit from behind, and he is not trying to advance this ball by himself. Watch him get hit here. He's got his head down.
We'll finish that in a second. Back live, Williams throws a little flare pass out, caught, and down at the 2-yard line is Johnny Davis. First time he's touched the ball today, I believe.
First time he's touched the ball this year.
That's right.
Here's the rest of the play. Eckwood's head is down.
Reaching forward, knocked right out of his hand, number 91.
He is just reaching forward to try to get as many yards as he possibly can.
Henry Bradley knocked it right out.
Bad call by the officials, but I can understand why they would make the call because his arm went forward. So 6 1/2 dozen of another. And if they score, it's forget it.
You're right about the fumble, though. That would only happen in the final 2 minutes of a half. It is second down and goal to go from the 3. In the end zone, touchdown, Gordon Jones. His second touchdown catch of the day. And it's a 31-19 football game now. Gordon Jones has had a marvelous afternoon. I think that's his 7th catch on the afternoon, 2 touchdowns, and this looked like it was easy for Doug Williams.
Okay, now we'll forget that play. If they hadn't scored, people would have been upset. But as I said, it appears that the Tampa Tampa Bay Buck receivers make the tough catch look easy and don't make the easy catch at all. Not a bad day for Gordon Jones. Last week it was Jimmy Giles with 4 receptions over 100 yards.
Garo Yepremian will attempt to put on the 20th point. Kick is up, and it is good. So, 5:09 to go, regulation time. And don't run too quickly. 11 points separates the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Cleveland Browns, and we may have an onside kick right after this.
I used to run through airports. Now I fly through them. With new Hertz #1 Express service, I fly non-stop from my plane to my car without stopping at the counter. If you ask for #1 Express when you make your reservation, your Ford or other fine car and contract will be waiting at the #1 Express booth. Once again, Hertz puts you in the driver's seat faster than anybody else.
The world's most advanced twin-blade razors are only as careful, gotcha, as you are. The Norelco rechargeable rotary razor has 36 surgical steel blades, carefully protected by 3 floating heads, and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave wherever you are, without a nick or a cut. The choice is yours. The close, careful Norelco rechargeable rotary razor, or 2 blades and gotcha.
Sam Dover and Bob Trumpy back in Tampa. The Cleveland Browns expect the onside kick.
Here it comes, here it comes.
And they all shift to one side of Garo Yepremian. And he kicks it. Caught by the Browns. Clinton Burrell. Down he goes at the 47-yard line of Tampa Bay. It did not work. The Browns have the ball. There's the scoring drive. 49 yards in 12 plays. 3 minutes and 10 seconds of elapsed time, and even in defeat, this has been one great day for Doug Williams, has it not?
You're right. 2 personal highs, 21 completions, and 42 attempts. Both of those personal highs, and when you consider the number of dropped passes, he might have been a very, very high percentage. He's completing 50% today, and if several receivers had just caught easy passes, he'd be close to 60%.
Well, the Bucks need a break. There is no question about it. From the 46-yard line of Tampa, Cleveland has it first down with Pruitt and White in the backfield. Willis Adams in motion. And Mike Pruitt gets the call. Nothing there. He may have gotten a yard out of it. Miami Dolphins have come back strong. Delvin Williams, an 8-yard run. Down at one point, 16-0 at the Orange Bowl. The Dolphins now lead New Orleans 21-16. And the hapless Saints cannot do much right, at least in 1980.
And the Miami Dolphins every week dodge a bullet.
Yes, they do.
Every single week so far this year, they have dodged a bullet.
It's second down at about 9. 4:33 to go in the game, and the Browns working on the clock.
They cannot be conservative here. He's got to throw it up if he needs it. This is second down and 9.
Charles White cutting back to about the 42-yard line. Kohler knocked him down, the 7-year veteran out of Montana State. Didn't he play with you in Cincinnati, Bill Kohler?
Yes, he did. It was a first-round draft choice for the Bengals. They released him. He had foot problems, came down here to Tampa and did a fine job. Tampa calls timeout.
They stopped the clock with 4:05 to go, and don't forget, we will join either the New York Jets at Baltimore or Seattle and Washington immediately following our telecast here as Dewey Selman comes over to chat with the Tampa Bay coaching staff. They have 2 timeouts remaining. 4:05 to go in regulation time.
Tom Bass, the man there with the, what is that?
He's been with McKay for some time, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. He was also an assistant at Cincinnati.
Not with John McKay, of course.
No, with Paul Brown.
Now, they may have to go back to the drawing board after this one because Brian Sipe has picked their defense apart. In a great afternoon throwing for over 300 yards. And as Bob mentioned earlier, the first quarterback ever to throw for over 300 yards against Tampa Bay.
Rather interesting, and he's done it in 3 quarters, too. They had 4 yards total offense in the first quarter. Third down conversions for Cleveland, 7 of 12.
Uh-oh. Danny White to Doug Cosby, 5 yards, 21-7. The Cowboys maybe putting a nail in the coffin of Bart Starr. The Green Bay Packers having all sorts of problems, and their coach may pay the price for that.
Let's see if he throws it.
Third down and 6.
I would.
Adams in motion. swing pass.
Get on the ball.
And Pruitt did not
That's a
hold on to
lateral.
it. He goes out of bounds. Stopping the clock, the incompletion. Andy Hawkins had the pressure.
Got a flag.
And a flag
Roughing
is
the
down.
passer.
Uh-oh. He had the pressure on sight, but he did a little bit too much. And David Lewis is talking to the official about it, referee Jerry Markbright. It'll do no good, however. It appears to be a roughing the passer against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, let's see.
Is that an automatic first down, Sam?
It would be, yes.
From the line of scrimmage, I believe, 15 yards, and...
Oh, David Lewis is absolutely livid. And so too, the Tampa Bay coaching staff. McKay having a few words. This is Tom Bass.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 59, defense, first down.
Andy Hawkins is the man we talked about. And we'd only have to see it again because I think everybody looked away when he threw that swing pass out on the flat to Mike Pruitt.
57 was complaining, but Hawkins was the guilty party. Look at that. That has really cost Tampa Bay in drop passes this football game. Those penalties. That's 115 yards, as you saw in the graphic. 12 penalties on the day.
So Seif will go back to work on the clock again with 4 minutes to go. This has been an uncommonly long football game, and a lot of passes have been thrown. And to give, Charles White gets to about the 25. Stopped there by Mark Cotney. We ought to add up all the passes thrown in this football game today. I think it won't be a record, but it'll account for the fact that we've had so many stoppages of the clock and the fact that this game has gone so long. Gain of a couple of yards, 2nd down and 8 for the former Heisman Trophy winner. How many passes have they thrown today, Mr. Trumpy?
Want to guess?
I'd say about 80.
75. Very close. 75. 42 by Tampa. And for Cleveland, 33.
It's 2nd down and 8 from the 25-yard line of the Buccaneers, and the Browns are well on their way to winning their 2nd football game of the year, and their 2nd in a row. Good run by White inside the 20 to the 18. It was Cotney again, along with Scott Brantley, number 52, a rookie linebacker out of Florida.
You mentioned it's an uncharacteristic game because of time. It's also defensively very uncharacteristic for the Tampa Bay Bucks. They have not allowed this many yards since they've been in existence, and that's a great performance by the Cleveland Browns.
I think if I were John McKay, I'd have reason to be concerned. His team's given up 59 points the last 2 Sunday afternoons, and this was the #1 ranked defense in the NFL in 1979.
And they gave up most of those points in the 3 quarters in this game and 2 quarters last week.
They allowed only 237 points all of last year. 3rd down, the give to White again, and I don't know. May have gotten close to the 1st down. It doesn't make a lot of difference because they're going to run this down to the 2-minute warning.
I'd go for it if I were Sam Rutigliano.
I think he will.
It's going to be very close. Mark Cotney on that tackle, a blitzing strong safety. Tampa's not giving up, but 2:05 left in this football game.
You look at a obviously dejected quarterback, Doug Williams, on the sidelines. We have reached the 2-minute warning here in Tampa, and many of the 72,000 that started the day with us have headed for the exits and probably are in the car on the expressway somewhere heading home. Dewey Selman is talking with his mentor, Tom Mass, but the Browns have this one in the bag.
America is not going to be pushed around anymore.
Here come the K cars. Introducing Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage front-wheel drive cars with 6-passenger room. Dodge Aries 2-door sedan, Aries 4-door wagon, Aries 4-door sedan. The weight of Aries engine is directly over the front driving wheels for remarkable traction. With Aries K pulling for you, America's not going to be pushed around anymore. At your Dodge Ram dealer, the American way to beat the pump.
Michelob Light for the winning team, okay?
You guys would do that for us?
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You guys never played like that before.
Hey, we never played for a Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light, compare the taste.
So on 4th down and 2 yards to go, the Cleveland Browns will go for it from the 19-yard line of Tampa Bay. They had a strategy session on the sideline with Sam Bertigliano. Probably talked about the possibility of a field goal. They threw that one out. And they're now going to go on 4th down unless it go up.
Very smart.
Sight calls the timeout.
Very smart.
Trying to draw Tampa Bay offside to get the automatic first down.
Exactly. Now they'll try for the field goal. I would imagine very, very smart. Try to pick up the first down just by motion.
We got a score in on the Baltimore Jets game. They have just started, and Joe Washington has run 5 yards. Baltimore 7, the New York Jets nothing. Some of you will see that game immediately following this one. Others will see Seattle and Washington, where there is no score in the nation's capital. Here it's 31-20. The Cleveland Browns well on their way to victory number 2 in a row, having beaten Kansas City last week for their first victory, 20-13. I'll tell you, Bob, the Browns are going to be heard from before 80 is over. The offense is one thing. They knew they had that. But I still am impressed with the way the defense kept them in early.
Well, they were called the cardiac kids last year. In the first 3 games of the season, they've been in defibrillation. But today they got healthy.
In what? Cockcroft, the 36-yard attempt. I think he was partially blocked, but it's up and good. Everything the Browns are doing turns out all right for them today. I think somebody got a hand on that, but Cockcroft had enough to get it through. And a 36-yard field goal by Cockcroft makes it 34-20, the Cleveland Browns.
If you just tuned in late, first attempt that Don Cockcroft made when he came on the field, when he ran on the field, his knee appeared to pop out.
Wait a minute.
He is.
If you joined us late, you missed a heck of a football game.
You're right.
It's all over.
Look, you can see Don Cockcroft limping. His left knee kind of popped out on him. They had to take a timeout. He went off the field, came in and kicked the field goal.
Well, do you believe in miracles? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to score 2 touchdowns and 2 conversions in the last 1 minute and 56 seconds here to send this game into overtime.
If you're from Tampa, you believe in miracles.
Here's our first score out of San Francisco. Tim Mazzetti, a 40-yard field goal. Atlanta leads the undefeated San Francisco Giants, or San Francisco 49ers 3-0.
That's baseball, sir.
Yeah,
that's baseball.
Well, this is the time of the year when they all overlap, isn't it? We got hockey starting, too. 27 yards in 6 plays, 3 minutes and 9 seconds off the clock. Cockcroft, the 36-yard field goal, as you look at him now. Went over the 1,000 career point mark last Sunday afternoon. Yepremian did it today. Don Cockcroft second to Lou Grossa. Of course, the great place kicker of the Cleveland Browns, Lou Grossa. Davis back to about the 18-yard line and dropped there. Billy Gower made the stop. And so not a very nice place to begin this series. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with Doug Williams still at the quarterback spot, go to work with 1:51 to go in the game.
It would take a minor miracle for them to come up with that many points to make it interesting.
Would it?
But it's straight up 2 touchdowns. Stranger things have happened.
Hagan's wide to the right. Gordon Jones, who's caught 2 touchdown passes to the left. They're looking for Jones, but they throw it to Eckwood. 25, 30, and out of bounds. He got the first down and stopped the clock. Number 21, Oliver Davis, got over there to knock him out of bounds. A 15-yard gain.
Oliver Davis wasn't supposed to play today. He has a bad knee, a strained knee. Whale of a performance by the Cleveland Browns. Heck of a performance in this heat and this humidity. Sam Bertigliano's got to be very happy with his football team. And 34 points against Tampa. Amazing.
Well, the offense finally got on track. This is the biggest output of the year for an offensive unit. That was number 3 last year. Eckwood, low pass, makes the good catch.
Get out of bounds.
He tried to. Good trying to keep him in bounds, and Good wins it. Oh, what a great battle. Good just picked him up and brought him back in bounds, and Eckwood does not like at all the way he was handled by Don Good, the former San Diego Chargers linebacker. In his 7th year out of Kansas, it was kind of a mismatch. Good at 6'2", 235, and a flag is down. And Eckwood is 6 feet, 200 pounds. Here it is again, Bob. This one,
as I said,
going against Cleveland.
It appears that Eckwood can make the tough catch, but not the easy catch. And Mr. Good is a little extracurricular activity there. There's no doubt about it. And when you take on a guy who's behind, well, he comes up fighting.
And the clock stops again with 1.5 minutes to go. Referee Jerry Markwright walks off the 15 yards. Tampa Bay now has it at the Cleveland 43-yard line, and here's the ref.
Number 50, defense, first down.
Ray Charles could have called that penalty.
Come to 43. And the clock remains stopped and will not start here until we get back into motion. Doug Williams, the quarterback. And he's looking for Gordon Jones every time out.
Don't blame him.
He's thrown short backward a couple of times. He's got to get the ball down the field. We're going to run down all of our scores here in just a moment. Throws it out in the flat. Bell couldn't hold on. Here we go. Final scores. Buffalo's beaten Oakland 24-7. Houston over Cincinnati 13-10. Detroit remains undefeated. 27-7 over Minnesota. Pittsburgh 38-3 over the Bears. New Orleans trailing Miami now 21-16. That is final. That is now final. Miami has won the game. Los Angeles over the Giants 28-7. Fourth quarter, the biggest upset of the day, the Cardinals leading Philadelphia 17-7. Dallas still in the third quarter, leading Green Bay 21-7. Baltimore 7-0 over the Jets. That's in the first quarter. And Atlanta leads San Francisco 3-0 in the first quarter. Caught out in the flat and out of bounds. Gary Davis at about the 26 or 36-yard line, make that. Stopping the clock again.
Cleveland's defense done a good job here in this situation. Williams is not able to throw the ball down the field. Throwing to those running backs in this situation. And in this 2-minute situation, the defensive backs and linebackers of the Cleveland Browns are only protecting the yardage behind them. They'll give them 15 or 20 yards every pop. They just don't want to let them get into the end zone the next 8 or 10 seconds.
Go from the 36-yard line. It's a third down and 3 now for Doug Williams. 34-20. The Browns lead it. Williams sending everybody out. Throws it over the middle. It's complete to about the 25-yard line. Gary Davis again. That should be good enough for a Tampa Bay first down, and they stop the clock with a timeout.
Timeout, Tampa Bay.
So Williams will head to the sidelines again. His conference with John McKay and Bill Nelson. The line of scrimmage, the 25-yard line of Cleveland. And they have given Tampa Bay everything underneath, obviously, but they're not going to give them the big one, and the Bucs have one timeout remaining.
Doug Williams has thrown the ball 47 times today. 25 of 47 for the day.
I cannot believe that was Tampa Bay's game plan going in.
No.
I just can't believe it. To throw the ball, and by the time this one's over, in the fourth quarter, the Cardinals have scored again, and the Philadelphia Eagles appear to be headed for their first defeat of 1980, 24-7. There is not an invincible team in pro football anymore, Bob. I'm convinced of it. O.J. Anderson, a 37-yard run.
That's why they have the ball pointed instead of round. You see, it always takes those funny bounces. That's why they don't have gimmies in football. Never can't tell what might happen on the last play of the game.
And the people I play with, they don't have gimmies in golf either. One timeout left for Tampa Bay. First down at the 25 of Cleveland. Williams, again, play action. Looking, throwing downfield. He's got a man open. Gordon Jones tried to make a one-handed catch. Was knocked out of bounds. But the pass was overthrown. Oliver Davis with the coverage on Too Much. They used to call him at Pitt, you know, and Ed Too Tall Jones is a takeoff on that. They used to call him Gordon Too Much Jones.
Too much what?
Just too much.
Oh, I see. Too much. Not a bad day, but in a losing effort, so I don't imagine there'll be much celebrating by Mr. Jones.
But the silver lining in this cloud will be that maybe Tampa Bay has found an outside threat.
And Gordon Jones,
yes, sir.
Coming into this game, they really hadn't thrown him a lot to the outside.
9 completed passes in 3 games to the outside receivers, and here Jones catches 7 in 1 ball game. The Buccaneers, I'm sure, will accentuate the positive after this. 1:07 to go. Williams on 2nd and 10. Throws it downfield. Caught. Gary Davis had it go right through his hands, and he knows he should have had it. Right through his hands. And Williams put that one right where he should have.
I think he was trying to also stay in bounds, and he may have taken his eye off the ball for just a minute. And out and up. And if he'd have caught this ball, I don't think it would have counted anyway, but it went right through his hands. It looked like it didn't even touch his hands. I would have all of the receivers on this Tampa Bay team into the optometrist for an eye examination. I swear to you.
Third down with 1:02 to go. Well, if nothing else, this will rapidly demonstrate the problems that Doug Williams has had. Maybe people can start to get off.
Henry Bradley got his hand up. He was kind of taking a peek there, making sure Doug Williams didn't run with the football.
He's no linebacker, number 91.
4th down.
So we're down to what could be our final play of the game for Tampa Bay. From the 25, it's 4th down and 10. Larry Mucker is into the lineup. 58 seconds left in this game that would seem endless to some. It has already gone 3 hours and 25 minutes.
Seems a lot longer for the Tampa fans than it does the Cleveland fans, believe me.
You're right. Williams last hurrah.
Bucker.
He looks down. He's got him all alone at the 8-yard line. He fell down after making the catch, but at least he held on to the football. And it's 1st down and goal to go for the Buccaneers, who are trying to get in one more time.
And they take another timeout.
And that's their last one.
I think this is just a lack of concentration on the Cleveland defense. He is wide open.
And Doug kind of sidearmed that ball in there, but he put it right on the money.
Well, he does that quite often. That's 18 yards on that reception. Williams has now thrown it 50 times. And his previous record was 38. 51 times, excuse me, 307 yards. He's only had one other 300-yard game, and that was 318 yards. So he's having a heck of a day, and I repeat, can you imagine how many yards he would have if some of the easy passes that he'd thrown today would have been caught?
You're absolutely right. I was thinking for a moment that if Brian Sipe did not have a sore arm before today's game, he may have one after. He's thrown the ball. What's he put it up? 35 times himself? They have really filled the air with footballs today. 48 seconds to go in a 34-20 football game in which the Cleveland Browns appear headed for their second victory of 1980.
These two quarterbacks have put it up now 84 times on this day.
Bob and I expect to have the Cleveland-Denver game next Sunday, which should be a dandy at Cleveland's stadium. And maybe they might fill that place again.
They certainly deserve a lot of credit off this victory.
On 1st down, Williams looking in the end zone, throws it out here all alone. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Jerry Eckwood, touchdown catch. 45 seconds. That play took but 3. And with the extra point and a successful onside kick, we could have something.
That is also a record for Doug Williams. The first time he's thrown 3 touchdowns in a regular season game. And I see Eckwood catches the touchdown passes. Not sure about the rest of them. That's 10 catches for Eckwood on the day. Can you imagine that? 10 catches?
And I figure he dropped 5.
At least. This game is not over. Here comes the onside kick after this extra point.
Yepremian's boot is up and good, and we have a 34-27 football game, although a flag is down. A penalty marker is down. Jerry Markbright listening to his colleagues to see exactly what this is all about.
Roachman foul on the defense. It prevented the snap, no play. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Well, I think he made that one perfectly clear.
Wait, what do you mean no play?
Well, that means the extra point is no good. They'll have to kick it again, but the 5 yards will be walked off on the kickoff.
I see. Why couldn't they just take the extra point?
Yeah, that's unfortunate sometimes. If it happens, I think, presumably before the ball is snapped, it's just a dead play.
Okay, thank you very much.
He's got to kick it again, but they're going to get 5 yards out of this thing at the end. Yepremian does it again. He's had to do a lot of second takes, hasn't he? He had to do a field goal twice early in the game. But Garrow's had a nice day. He's enjoyed it, although his teammates are still down by 7. But they are not dead with 45 seconds to play. And you know what's coming, don't you?
Yes.
34-27 football game.
Everybody gathered at the sideline with the special teams coach. The last time they kicked it to the Cleveland Browns side on the onside kick. Will they try the other side?
Well, they'll walk off the 5, and so Yepremian will get to kick it from his own 40-yard line, presumably.
It really makes no difference where they kick it from. It's got to go 10 yards.
It does indeed, but if they recover the ball, then it'll be 5 yards closer to the Cleveland goal line. Now the 5-yard walk-off, and Yepremian will kick it from the 40.
Okay, they got Reggie Rucker over there on the Cleveland side. They got Oliver Davis on the Tampa Bay side. With Feature up there. They also have Calvin Hill. They got Cleveland has all their players with the best hands. 82 yards on that last drive for Tampa.
Here it is.
Plays.
All right, the game has really boiled down to this. Tampa Bay must recover this onside attempt by Yepremian. There it is. It bounces free. It's a loose football, and Tampa's got it. Oh, no. Quentin Burrell. And what a day that young man has had. He was beaten early by Gordon Jones, then made the 2 interceptions. Now cannot hold on to the onside kick. It's recovered by Aaron Brown. Hold on.
Boy, if they come back to win this football game, it will absolutely kill Cleveland. And Tampa will go crazy.
Do you remember what I said was 6:10 showing on the clock?
Watch this.
There was plenty of time left if the Buccaneers could get their act together.
That little bounce off the ground, kept it on the line, kept it down on the ground. Burrell couldn't pick up the handle. Here we go.
With no timeouts and only 42 seconds to play. Williams from the 49-yard line of Cleveland. Throws a swing pass to Bell, 45, trying to get out of bounds, and no, he did not make it to the 42-yard line. And the clock continues to run, 31 seconds to play.
The tough thing about this, Sam, is that they have to get it in the end zone. They've got to go 43 yards in order to tie the score.
22 seconds. Williams throws one out of bounds, stopping the clock with 18 seconds left in the game.
Well, if they pull this off,
it's unfortunate for Tampa Bay that Bell could not get out of bounds, because to get the clock recycled to get themselves going again, they lost 14 seconds, which you probably could run off 2 or 3 plays.
At least 2 plays. You're absolutely right.
That's the most dangerous time. Here's the onside kick again.
Watch the little hop this ball takes. See, he's squibbing it on the side of the ball instead of on the point of the ball. Burrell never even came close. Like a shortstop, he needed a glove out there.
3rd down and 4, but more importantly, only 18 seconds left in the game, and Tampa Bay must get it into the end zone from the Browns' 43-yard line. Williams dumps one out to Bell. 40, 35, out of bounds. 12 seconds left. 1st down at the Cleveland 35. They gave them that one. The Browns wisely gave them the throw underneath.
And all those people who drove away from here earlier now got the volume control up on the radio, I guarantee you.
Unless they happen to have a portable television in their limousine.
What? George Steinbrenner's in New York.
12 seconds. Doug Williams 35 yards away from pulling off a near miracle.
And don't forget the threat of Doug Williams running the football. Very important in this situation.
Jones, the outside receiver on the left. Williams over the middle, throws it. It's caught at the 22-yard line.
They'll never get another
play. They'll never get it off. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. The clock will run down, and the game will end. And Williams electing to go over the middle. The Browns allowed them the completion to Jimmy Giles. They got to the 20-yard line, but that's as far as they got. And this game has ended. I'm sure Sam Ratigliano's blood pressure is up at the moment. Wow, what a finish.
We've complimented Doug Williams all day. I think he made a mistake throwing it down the middle. With only 12 seconds to go, no way you can throw the ball down the middle.
Okay, the final score. I hope you enjoyed it. Cleveland 34, Tampa Bay